welcome to the Speak Uneasy, a safe space where cancel culture does not exist because we are in a different prohibition era.
I've got the alcoholic blues. No more beer, my heart don't care. Goodbye, whiskey, you used to make me frisky. So long, highball, so long, gin. Oh, tell me when you're coming back again. Blues, I've got the blues since the amputated my blues. Lordy, Lordy, war is well. You know, I don't have to tell. Oh, I've got the alcoholic blues, some blues. Prohibition, that's the name. Prohibition drives me insane. I'm so thirsty, soon I'll die. I simply grind, evaporate, I scarce that dry. I wouldn't mind to live forever in a train if my thirst had only let me quench, and not with Bevo or ginger ale. I want real stuff by the
You're very exceptionary. No dictionary can define what's genuinely indescribable. Very exceptionary. No ordinary phrase can capture you. Now some might say that you're tremendous. You are so much more stupendous, so magnificent, so magnanimous. If we voted, it'd be unanimous. Very exceptionary. This temporary phrase we'll have to do. It's true for my very exceptionary you. You're very exceptionary. No dictionary can define what's genuinely indescribable. Very and so magnanimous. If we voted, it'd be unanimous. Very exceptionary. This temporary phrase we'll have to do, it's true, for my very exceptionary. For my very exceptionary you.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of This Is News with your host, The Bartender, and I will soon be introducing my co-host here, Mr. C of the C Report. Before we get to that, let us start off with tonight's random read. Tonight's random read comes from the Book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verses 23 through 32. Fear of the Lord prolongs days. It is as sport to a fool to do mischief, but a man of understanding hath wisdom. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. As the whirlwind passeth, so is the wicked no more, but the righteous is an everlasting foundation. As vinegar to the teeth, and as smoke to the eyes, so is the sluggard to them that send him. The fear of the Lord prolongeth days, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened. The hope of the righteous shall be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked shall perish. The way of the Lord is strengthened to the upright. The destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity. The righteous shall never be removed, but the wicked shall not inhabit the earth. The mouth of the just bringeth forth wisdom, but the forward tongue shall be cut out. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaketh frowardness. Once again, this random read comes from the Book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verses 23 through 32. Fear of the Lord prolongs days. Absolutely beautiful read. I really like that read tonight. Okay. So before I introduce my co-host, tonight we'll be making a cocktail. And the cocktail is called a Cuban screw. A Cuban screw. So I tried to find history on the cocktail, but I could not find anything. So we're just going to go ahead and get into it. This is a very, very, very easy cocktail to make. All you need is rum, white rum, and orange juice. So let's begin. So before I start off the show, I've already chilled my Collins glass. We're going to take 1.5 ounces of white rum. And tonight's white rum that I'm using... is Florida Caña. Slow aged for 4 years. So let's go ahead and put that in the jigger. We're going to put 1.5 ounces. All right. All right, here we go. 1.5 ounces of that. Next is the last ingredient, which is fresh squeezed orange juice. So we're just going to top that off. We're just going to top the glass off with orange juice. Just pour it all in there. Let's see if I squeezed perfect amount. Oh, it looks like I did. Oh, awesome. I guessed it, and this was perfect. Cool. So let's give this bad boy a little stir. I got my little metal straw here. Stir it from the bottom so the alcohol spreads out. Give it a slow stir, nothing too vigorous, because I'm actually capped on the top of this glass. All right, now for the taste. Cheers. Oh my goodness, not bad. Way better than the last cocktail I made last week. I even forgot the name of it. So there it is, the Cuban Screw. the Cuban screw. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to go ahead and introduce my co-host here. Mr. C, would you please reveal yourself?
Hello, hello, hello.
What's going
Hello.
on, brother? We're here again, man. We are here again.
We certainly are. How are you doing?
I'm doing, man. I'm doing.
Awesome.
Yeah, we were talking before right before the show, and I was telling Mr. C that so my daughter and I we stream on another platform, DJing, and we do our sets in the garage. And I was telling Mr. C that towards the end of my daughter's set, she collapsed. She collapsed towards the end. I think she had heat exhaustion, and I had to cut the stream real quick. You know, my former job's training kicked in. I didn't panic at all. I took my daughter. I lifted her up, and it was weird because she just slurred her speech. She just collapsed, and I was like, shit. And I caught her. And I carried her to the bathtub, and we just doused her, and we put all cold
Buckets
water.
of ice.
Yeah, we put all cold water, and she was fine after a few minutes. So
That's pretty scary. Pretty scary.
it was, man. It was. I mean, now looking in hindsight, it was, but at the moment, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but the training kicked in, man. Like, I didn't panic.
Sure.
It's weird. It's so weird because, when you get trained to respond to things like that, it just kicks in, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's a good thing. It's a good thing you were there.
Yes, I was right there next to her. I was right there next to her, and I'm glad. I'm glad that nothing else happened. Like, if I wasn't there, she would have bumped her head, and it would have been even worse.
Oh man, that's scary to think about.
Yeah, but
There's nothing funny about a head injury, but never let a good concussion go to waste.
No.
There's some weird reference point there.
Hey, Deluxe, what's going on, brother? Yeah, she went man down, dude. She did.
Oh snap! Oh yeah, I was just about to say I'll give 100 gold pills to the first person who can find the Speakeasy's other stream, but appears
Yeah, he knows.
someone in the room already knows.
He's a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of mine. He
Awesome.
knows. Yeah, he knows. And yeah, she went man down. Her eyes rolled back and everything, dude. Her speech slurred right before she went out. She went out, and I had to cut the stream, and I took her in the bathtub, and just we put cold water.
A real pro would have kept that stream going. No, just kidding.
We did. We actually. I mean, it was still on. I mean, I didn't cut it. I changed the screen. Right. I changed the screen so that people won't see what's happening. And
Yeah.
I took her into the bathtub, and then we just put ice cold water on her.
Mhm.
And I went back to the stream. I said, okay, we got to cut it. We got an emergency, and I just ended it. So
Oh.
yeah, but I'm glad everything turned out good. I'm glad that it was weird, man, because the training, every time I look in hindsight with those things where the training kicks in, it's weird, dude. It's like automatic. It just happens. You just do what you do. So
For sure.
yeah, that's one thing that's really good about first responders, or even people in the military that were trained in certain things. Like, you just do. There's no time to fear. There's no time to panic. It's just you do.
Mhm.
So that's one thing I'm grateful for, and
Jump straight into action, no questions asked.
Yep.
Not like the Uvalde Police Department, right?
I have no comment. I
I
have no comment, man. I wasn't there.
Anyone should have a
Well,
comment.
No, well, in all fairness, I was not there. I don't know anything.
No, you're right.
You know?
You're right. You're right. You being fair. You being
So
fair.
yeah, I mean, if I was there, and more than likely I'd be armed if I was there, and I would definitely do what I could.
Yeah, but they would have stopped you from going in and probably tackled you to the ground.
We don't know. We don't know.
Well, we
that.
know because that's what they did to the other parents that tried to go in for an hour.
Well,
Did you not know that?
I like I said, I wasn't there. I can't critique something that I wasn't there for, because the same shit would happen to me in situations in my old job. where I would do
Mhm.
things and people will Monday night quarterback that shit. And I'm like, motherfucker, you weren't there. You don't know how I felt. You don't see what I see.
You don't know what my sergeant or my chief told me to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I can't comment on it as much as I really would want to. I just can't because I wasn't there. Like I don't know the things detail by detail. You
Right.
know?
Well, stick to the C report and we'll get you all the details. No, just kidding.
Hey, yeah, there you go. There you go, your plug. So I
Cheap
was
plug. An exploitive plug anyways. So
hey, it's all good, dude.
that
it's
was terrible.
It's more
Now I feel like an asshole.
shit, you already are an asshole, dude.
Well, gotta love me.
Oh man, Deluxe, thank you so much for your concern of my girl, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, and she's okay now. She praise God that she's okay now. Shall we get this started?
Sure.
Yeah, because sometimes we just go on overdrive with these articles. So last
Absolutely.
week, I think I went first last week, right?
You did, yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, so let's. Which one did you want to start off with? Did you want to go?
I will let you curate it because you know what the overall body looks like. So whatever you think goes with the flow, it's all you, sir. Roll that dice.
Okay, we're gonna go with the AI one.
Okay.
We'll start off with that one. So let me get you there.
We'll start off with a little science fiction.
Yes, we'll start off with sci-fi first. Okay, let me do the share screen here with you real quick, and then I'll share it with everybody else.
Cool.
Can you see it on your end?
Oh man, that thing is creepy.
You see it on your end.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on for a moment. Let me just.
It's a deep fake, I tell ya.
Okay, here we go, peeps.
All right.
That is a creepy looking thing, man.
That is a creepy looking whatever the heck that is. Clearly
Yup.
it's not a human, no, but yeah, it is weird one, totally weird. Expert predicts fake AI Tamagotchi children will solve population problem within 50 years. Now, I don't know how that's going to solve the population problem, but I guess scientists, trust the science, right? So let's see what it has to say. This is Gateway pundit Alicia Powell. It says biological offspring will increasingly become obsolete within the next 5 decades as would-be parents opt for fake AI children.
That is so freaking weird, dude.
Right? Like, why would they opt? Like, they're choosing that as an option is what it sounds like. Compared to what? Not being able to have children, not wanting children, or just wanting to have a child that you don't really care about but makes you feel as if though you were fulfilled as a parent.
This is weird.
I will
dude.
never understand that.
This is very. This maybe it can go with same-sex marriages that want children. I don't know, man. This is bizarre. No, this is bizarre, bro.
I could not remember the name Tamagotchi. I was cracking a joke a couple of weeks back on the C Report, and I was like, oh, they were saying something about having children. Oh, no, about putting your body into AI or putting your consciousness into an app. And I was like, oh, they'd be just like those Tamagotchi pets, It was like, oh no, we killed Billy. We forgot to feed him.
Yeah,
Anyways.
the Tamagotchis were like the advanced pet rocks that people used to have way back when.
So when you had the pet rocks and I had the Tamagotchi, no, just kidding. The Tamagotchis actually came after me. So
no, the Tamagotchis came out back in the 90s.
They're not that old.
Yes, they are.
No, I remember them. I thought in the 2000s.
Nope, they came out in the 90s.
Really?
Dude. Yep.
Okay, so I must be thinking about. I don't know which ones I'm thinking about, but there were ones that I think they were after I was already beyond fascination with gadgets and stuff like that.
They came out in the 90s, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been an earlier model. Anyways, so let's see here. So apparently in 5 decades, they'll be opting for Tamagotchi children. It says, this was to quell concerns surrounding overpopulation comes from, it appears I picked 2 articles involving the United Kingdom in case any of you guys were wondering how screwy dip they are over there. one of the UK's leading authorities in artificial intelligence, claims a population crisis will compel society to embrace digital children, which require minimal resources and costs nothing to raise. Artificial intelligence expert Catriona Campbell predicts in a newly published book, AI by Design, a plan for living with artificial intelligence.
This is so bizarre, man.
It is bizarre because I don't know. This seems like something. Just the tone of those first two paragraphs sound like something like out of the World Economic Forum. Oh, you will love your virtual child. Anyways, it says virtual children may seem like a giant leap from where we are now, but within 50 years, technology will have advanced to such an extent that babies which exist in the metaverse, which I still don't know what or where that is, are indistinct from those in the real world. Campbell writes, as the metaverse evolves, I can see virtual children becoming an accepted and fully embraced part of
Dude,
society
that is so weird,
in much
dude.
of the developed world.
I
And you know what?
I don't want to accept that. I do not want to accept that.
I know, but here's the thing: in 5 decades, they'll be perfectly fine with post-birth murder of children. So Tamagotchi babies will fit right in. They can just do it whatever they want. I mean, you have to allow the woman to do what they want. It's their body, their choice.
Okay, well they're gonna have
And
to.
the baby is an extension of that body. It's not a living and independent soul.
Well, okay, that's fine with them. They can go ahead and do that, but they're gonna have to answer. They're gonna have to
goodness.
answer to the higher power when the time comes.
But then they're going to tell you there's no such thing as a higher power.
Oh,
And
well.
then you're going to say,
Well, you know what?
oh yeah.
You can go ahead and. I would say you can go ahead and believe that. And by the time that comes, it's going to be too late for you to change your mind. So you go ahead and believe that there is no higher power, and okay, I'm not going to force you, but that's your ass, man.
Right, exactly. Campbell claims the virtual baby boom will usher in the Tamagotchi generation, a reference to handheld digital pets that became one of the biggest toy fads in the early 2000s. And there's the lady with her virtual Tamagotchi baby.
Yeah, she's got those the virtual shades on too.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. It says we're already well on our way to infertility. No, just kidding. We're already well on our way to creating the Tamagotchi generation, which, for all intents and purposes, will be real to their parents, Campbell notes, on the basis that consumer demands is there, which I think it will be. AI children will become widely available for a relatively small monthly fee.
Dude.
What? And then you have to you have to rent that baby?
This is
Kill that
nuts,
thing.
dude.
No,
This
just
is freaking nuts, man.
And then you still have to spend resources on it, even if it's minimal. Hello. I mean, I thought we were going to own nothing in the future and be happy.
You know, it's this is actually a good segue to the articles that I picked today.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is actually this is actually a good one to especially the last story that we're gonna do tonight. It's
Awesome.
a good this is a good opener.
And I just cannot believe that this is news. It says to cuddle, feed, and play with the virtual children, people will wear gloves that simulate physical sensations. Advanced machine learning, facial tracking, and voice analysis will allow the AI offspring to recognize and respond to their parents. Make no mistake that this development, should it indeed take place, is a technological game changer which, if managed correctly, could help us solve some of today's most pressing issues, including overpopulation.
So the issue that they're trying to solve is the problem of existence.
Exactly.
Dude.
I mean, if someone were to dissect that sentence, all that they're saying is we can make sure that human population shrinks or it's killed off, and we'll have babies there to manage people through their trauma or what.
So this makes me think. So like a story like this will make me think even deeper. Like, who is actually pushing this? It can't be a human being pushing something like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, Speak. I don't know if it's not a human. I don't know what it would be, sir.
it's demonic, man. I mean, that's
Well,
the
I mean,
that's the
it
only
definitely
conclusion.
it is.
Yeah, that's the only conclusion I can come with. And I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to push the whole religion about this thing,
It
but
could be alien.
I don't know anything about the aliens. I don't know. I mean, I used to be
There's
all in.
that
I
whole sector of alien people out there.
I used to be all into that, but I really don't know. You know, the truth of the matter is I don't know. I really don't know. But I tell you, man, I don't think a human being will be pushing this kind of
really
stuff.
sick, twisted, depraved, and demonically inspired human being.
Well, I mean, if they're doing the bidding of their master, yeah, I can see that, but I don't think I don't think out of the blue a human being would just be thinking about this, because that means it's a destruction of themselves too.
Oh yeah, that's why when they say if you have a globalist talking about solving overpopulation, you just say, I agree with you. Why don't you start with yourself?
I was about to say that.
Just start with yourself and everyone else that thinks we're overpopulated, and that'll take care of at least what all the globalists say.
I'll be like, Klaus, you are right. I will own nothing and be happy. Why don't we start with you first? You show me. You lead by example, my friend.
Exactly. Exactly. All good leaders lead by example, after
right?
all. 100%. It says Campbell's warning of overpopulation comes as the United States has fallen to its lowest point in decades, and they're worried about overpopulation. Well, maybe if the government wasn't hogging up all of the land and actually allowed us to expand outside of the city centers, the illusion of overpopulation wouldn't exist, right? According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the American birth rate fell for the 6th consecutive year in 2020. It's because everyone's turning gay and everyone's having abortions.
That's part of it too.
The lowest number of babies born since 1979.
Wow.
So the year 1979 was the last generation of love.
Yeah, man.
Some 3.6 million babies were born in the United States in 2020, marking a 4% decline from the year before, found the CDC National Center for Health Statistics. The BBC reports. The slump was seen across all recorded ethnicities and origins, according to the findings. It might also be the Starbucks and the McDonald's too.
Yeah. It's all angles, dude. There's the reason for the birth rate problem right now is just a whole bunch of angles, man. And it's the food, it's the water, it's everything, man. It's the air, it's everything.
It's by
dude.
design.
It's everything. It's everything. And these people have planned this. They've planned this a long time. And these guys, man, they're they're a bunch of devils, dude, because they're doing exactly the opposite of what God wanted us to do, was to, populate the earth.
Yep. Go forth and spread your seed.
Mm-hmm. Wow. This is man. Yeah. I mean,
it's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy, man.
And just how they word it, that it's gonna solve the problem of overpopulation. I'm like, how twisted can these people be? To think that that's going to be some type of a I don't know, a consolation prize, right? To actually be able to have a baby or something like that, or or people will be less inclined to have children or make babies just because they have a Tamagotchi baby. Why do you want to go and procreate?
But
I can just rent this Tamagotchi baby.
Well, I honestly think that's more of the younger generation, though. They're being taught that kind of shit,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, all the kids who grew up with those Tamagotchis, they were younger than me, and maybe they're not going to feel so weird about it,
And I mean, this also goes back to, like, I guess the video games, that's where it can start off, man. And that's one of the reasons why I tried to get my daughter to stop playing video games, man, and just do stuff, like do activities, do real life activities, like go out there and play with your friends, go ride your bike, go DJ in the garage, something that's real. Do something that's real. Don't be playing these games, because it'll definitely mess your mind up. and it'll make you accept like this shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yep,
What, you found a really bizarre one, man.
That was pretty bizarre, right?
That was this is newsworthy.
Yeah,
that
straight
was
from the pages of the Gateway Pundit.
Man. Well, it's interesting because the two articles that I chose have to do with children. So yeah.
Very good.
Which brings us to the next one. Let me go over here real quick. Let me do the screen share with you. All right. You see it?
Let me see. Yeah.
Do the screen share for the peeps out there in the bar. All right, this one's from the New York Post. This article was written by Robert Pondicicio. It's an opinion article. So article reads, expert, in quotes, idiocy on teaching kids to read is beyond comprehension. What the
I mean, I don't know if I understand the context of that statement.
Well, let's read.
read.
Let's read on. And
let's
see.
read.
I mean, come on. Just based on that lady's face, you already know she's one of them crazy ass liberal ladies.
She's the one that wants a Tamagotchi baby.
Can she even have one?
That's why she needs one. Maybe she'd stop being such a bitch. No, just kidding.
Hey, what's going on, Whiskey Blue? It's nice to see you in the bar, man. Thank you for coming by. All right, let's read on. So it says here, this is Lucy Calkins, a Columbia University education professor, has misguided New York City teachers on showing children how to read and comprehend books. Let's read on. And she's a professor? But then again, it's New York. Every teacher of struggling readers has experienced the moment when a student says, I read it, but I didn't get it. I was one of those guys because I hate reading. I really hated reading back then. Reading now is okay. I mean, to me, it's okay now. It's not something that I would really, really want to do unless it's a topic that I'm going to read about. But my reading and my comprehension to reading has gotten a little bit better, only because I just don't like reading.
Reading is fundamental, sir.
I know it is fundamental, but it's not fun.
It's just mental. No, just kidding.
It drives you mental. Okay, it can be.
I used to love to read. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. It can be a bewildering experience. Why don't they get it? For several decades, elementary schools in New York City and across the country have turned to Columbia University. Education professor and look at this, acclaimed reading guru Lucy Calkins.
Excuse me.
To answer that question. But in recent years, her influential and best-selling, quote, units of study curriculum has faced an intense barrage of criticism from experts who have complained its, quote, balanced literacy approach is ineffective and gives what's that? Shrift? What? What is that? Shrift?
Oh,
short
my
shrift?
screen is too small.
I've never.
Short shrift.
It's shrift. What the hell is a shrift? To phonics.
You probably made it up yourself.
Oh yeah, that's liberals do that all the time. They make words up all the time, man.
And then they act like they're better than you, right? They're like,
yeah, they do. They sure do.
You've never heard of shrift before?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, it's Ammo. Thanks for coming to the bar tonight. All right, teaching children to look at pictures and guess words, for example, instead of sounding them out. School Chancellor David Banks has announced plans to move literacy instruction in New York City away from Calkins' curriculum in favor of approaches based on the science of reading, including phonics. Perhaps, well, you know what? Maybe we should stop teaching these kids about sexual stuff and pay more attention to the shit that they need to learn, right? I mean, why don't we? Can we at least start there first? This is probably why their reading and their comprehension is all messed up, because you guys are confusing the shit out of them about them identifying as whatever they want to.
But they
it
need
blows my
sexual
mind.
comprehension to make it in life. Hello.
I mean, you have to have sexual comprehension in order for you to know how to play with yourself, right? These people are so
Well,
sick,
yeah.
man. These people are sick.
Yes, I think so.
Hey, what's up, Subpack?
Hey, the bar's starting to fill up. All right.
Cool. I'm so happy to see people coming in, trickling in the bar. That's cool. Where was I? Perhaps as a result, Calkins now appears to have conceded the argument, promising in a lengthy New York Times article to include, there's a lot of quotes in here, daily structured phonics lessons in her program. That's welcome news, but it's not enough. The South Bronx Elementary School, where I taught fifth grade for several years, was a proponent of Calkins' approach. We adopted her teaching methods and employed her literacy coaches for years, to very little effect. Her greatest sin against literacy comes after kids learn to decode the written word, whether or not they are taught with phonics, which is just the starting line for reading. Well, have they stopped teaching phonics in school?
It's like fifth grade level now. Just kidding.
Because I don't know, because my daughter's homeschool. Like, she doesn't go to a conventional school. I don't know what they do in conventional schools
Sir,
anymore.
I never had to take phonics because I was in advanced classes, so I couldn't tell you.
Excuse me, smarty pants.
Well, yeah, my pants were pretty smart. They certainly were.
You're one of those guys. I was
like, oh my goodness, I'm taking all the way back to kindergarten.
Yeah, I would
smarty pants.
I was the guy that would sit behind you or next to you and look at your work so I can write the same thing on my.
Oh, you know, if I was not the kind of guy that would let that happen, I'd be like, teacher. No, just kidding. That's funny. Hilarious.
Oh, it's Ammo. Thank you so much for the cookie. Thank you. Most of all, man, thank you for coming back here. Thank you so much. Where was I? Okay. Calkins' literacy philosophy is aimed at children developing a lifelong love of reading and discovering the intoxicating power of their own voices as writers. This mostly entails kids reading books they choose themselves and writing about their own experiences and interests. Don't they still do that? I remember doing that kind of shit in school. I really, I still remember that stuff. Even though I wasn't in school half the time, but I still remember some of the stuff that we had to do. That may sound engaging and fun for kids, and it often is, but it can be fatal to sophisticated adult literacy, particularly for a disadvantaged. Oh, here we go, man.
This is retarded because, first of all, you're supposed to do it developmentally, which means you start at a very lower level and you work your way up.
Yes.
So what are they saying? Like, by reading like Berenstein Bears, it's going to ruin their freaking college education or what?
Man, I don't know. Well, like I said, man, I don't know what's going on in these public schools anymore. I mean, the last time I experienced it was my son. My son, he went through the whole public school system in California at that. Lucky for him, he had a father like me that told him, dude, you play the game, but when you just play the game. But you find out what the truth is yourself, or you can ask me, because I'll try to get you the answer. I'll try to be as honest as I can with whatever research I do. But you need to do your own research and find your own truth, because these people are going to freaking lie to you. Mm-hmm. My son was the only guy. So his sophomore year, he was the only student that didn't attend sex education class because I said no. That's my responsibility. That's not the school's responsibility. It's not the government responsibility to teach you about. It's you. You're my son, so I'm supposed to teach you about all that stuff. So,
absolutely,
I don't know, man.
Absolutely, sir.
What's going on, Disco Ball Chaser? Nice to see you here at the bar as well. Glad you're here.
What up, Disco Ball? Get me a whiskey cherry Coke. Just kidding. Oh, you know what? I would really like a good Cuban screw, but it's okay. No, just kidding.
I don't know what you were referring to there, but
well, I would have used that joke sooner, but I was like, it'd be really bad taste to follow up with the story of your daughter by
Yeah,
saying
no, that is
something
true. That is true.
I
But then
was
again,
like,
I ain't Cuban, so.
well, I guess I'll have to go to another bar then. Just kidding.
All right, let's go.
Awesome.
Let's. Here's why. Reading feels like riding a bike to good readers. Once you learn how to pedal and balance, you can ride nearly any bike. Reading may see. I can't even fucking read. Reading may feel the same way. Reading comprehension, however, is far more complicated. Yes, I understand that because I used to have problems with my reading comprehension, and it's not because I'm slower. It's because I didn't pay attention and I didn't care about it. But it's gotten better now.
It's different for everyone. It sounds like this article, whoever is doing all this believes that reading is the same for everyone, and so it needs to be the same for everyone, or something like that. If that makes sense, like.
But everybody's
reads
learning
differently.
Yeah, everybody's learning, has a learning curve, or
same thing with comprehension. Like comprehension, there are some books that there was this one book I was reading one time, and it was I think it was like a science fiction novel, right? And I got through about the first 20 or 30 pages, and it was all super technical stuff, like super technical, and I just couldn't do it. And I was like, I cannot read this. Like, I don't understand what they're talking about, because it's technical, true, but like also just because I didn't get the point of it. I don't know. I couldn't get through it. Someone could read that thing probably like with no problem and be like, fascinating. And I was just like, no.
Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, I was like, you wasted 50 pages describing a part of a machine. Like, what are you talking about? Is this a metaphor?
Sometimes sometimes you have to let your imagination work that way. Because, when I started reading outside of school, like when I became a younger adult, when I would read books, and I bump into these words, usually what you're supposed to do when you bump into words you don't even understand or whatever, you're supposed to go to a dictionary and find out what the meaning is. I never did that shit. So what I did was I try to imagine, just based off the sentence that I was reading with the words I did understand, I try to gauge what it meant just by
like the context of it.
Yeah. I try to get the meaning of that particular word just by how the whole sentence was written. I was too lazy to get it. I was like, wait, I gotta read this, and then if I need to understand that word, I gotta read another book. No, I ain't doing that shit, because it's gonna confuse the hell out of me. So I just kind of, that's kind of how I learned different, like, I guess complex words, where I read the whole sentence. I'm like, okay, so that probably means, X. So that's how I comprehended stuff. Anyhow, it depends on the reader and writer having in common a lot of background knowledge, vocabulary, and context. Consider the common word shot. Phonics instruction can ensure children can read the word, but it means different things on a basketball court. In a doctor's office, that's very true. In a doctor's office, and when the repairman uses it to describe your dishwasher. Yeah, I totally understand that part, because there's multiple meanings for just that one word. I get it. Words and the ability to, quote, decode them are just the tip of the iceberg. Comprehension lies beneath. The critical role of shared knowledge to language proficiency is the basic insight of another, less heralded professor, the University of Virginia's E.D. Hirsch Jr. Hirsch is something of an anti-Calkins and preaches a very different message. For education to work as an engine of equity and upward mobility, schools must do all in their power to expand children's horizon, ensuring they get a well-rounded education in science, history, literature, and the arts. This is basic stuff they should be learning to begin with.
Yeah. Were they reserving this all for the university kids now, or what?
Dude, what?
I know.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
No, because they're still doing the indoctrination part in the freaking universities too.
True that.
Yeah. access to the rich knowledge and vocabulary that undergird literacy. Calkin's Calkin's work mostly disregards this fundamental insight, focusing students' attention in the mirror instead of out the window. For low-income kids who are less likely to grow up in language-rich homes and don't have the same opportunities for enrichment as affluent kids, the opportunity costs of Calkin's, quote, philosophy are incalculable. Endless hours of class time that could be building knowledge and vocabulary are squandered. I witnessed this daily.
Yeah, you'd think that they'd never heard of half-price books in a dollar bin.
Right.
Like stupid. That's as ignorant as saying that voter ID is voter suppression because colored people don't know
have
how
access
to
to
find the
it.
DMV.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
Stupid.
I'll even
ignorant.
go deeper than that. I think the responsibility lays solely on the parents. The parents are the ones who are the roots of the child's learning. You communicate with your child. You read storybooks to your child whenever you can, because they want to use that. They want you to read books for them. They want you to tell them a story. Not to mention that, you have to teach them their alphabets, how to count. So it's the parents it's the parents' interaction that's important with the child. And I'll even go deeper than that, where there should be a 2-parent home for every child. There should be, it'll be very difficult to be involved in your child's life if there's only a single parent. It's doable if the single parent has good parents who are willing to help that single parent, then there could be hope. But when you usually have a single parent home with just a single parent who is either working their ass off and they're out all the time because they're working their ass off, or if they're just grabbing government cheese and not doing shit, it becomes very difficult for the child to develop correctly. You get what I'm saying? And I think, I don't think that the schools are responsible for this. I think the schools are supposed to enhance. They're supposed to enhance and advance the child in learning. But ultimately, I think.
Well, do you think that maybe the parents' role then would be to lay down the foundation of being open to education and stuff like that? Because, my father did not know high school calculus, and only the teachers did, so I wouldn't go to him to teach me that. Or,
no. But what I'm saying is that when a child is developing, I'm talking about toddler age. I'm talking about one. Oh,
you're talking about the 1, 2, 3s and ABCs.
Yes, the basics. The basics. The parents' responsibility is the basics, and then the teacher, when they start going to school, the teachers are supposed to enhance that with them. It could be very difficult for a parent like myself to try to help their child do some complicated math shit, especially for me, because I sucked at math and I still suck at math. So there's just no way that I can ever help my son when he was going through his math courses, because I was like, you passed me, man. I was stuck at algebra 1. That's the highest math I took. That was the highest math I took, because I was able to comprehend that, but that was years ago. I forgot how to do that. But I think that when the child is newborn and you talk with your child and you teach them their ABCs and their 1, 2, 3s, just the fundamental stuff, man. And then just based off of that, and then having teachers like make it more interesting, because that's pretty much what they're paid to do, right? They're supposed to get the child wanting to learn more shit, right?
To inspire them.
Yes, and not only that, but they can take the learning to another level than a parent can. unless you have like a really nerdy parent who knows a lot of shit. So yeah, I really think that the basis, the roots should be on the responsibility of the parents. I believe that. I solely believe that, man. Especially now, dude. I mean, what are the teachers teaching nowadays? You know, that's scary.
Well, we definitely get the highlights of what they're teaching.
You know, we've done multiple stories on stuff like that, man. We have, especially remember, was it a couple? I think it was like 2 weeks in a row where we were talking about how these colleges are teaching porn to freaking these college students now, and that's mind blowing. You know, we went
they gotta learn how to get an OnlyFans going, right? How to market themselves. No, just kidding.
You know, we've gone to like, the society has gone to like going to college and getting a prestigious job, I guess you can say, till now get a prestigious OnlyFans website.
Yep.
Where are we going, dude? You know, like, where are we going?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
All right, let me
teaching them the basics.
Let me finish this article, man. I mean, this is frustrating. And I'm glad that my daughter doesn't go to public school, man. I'm so glad. It's difficult financially to make her continue to go to school, but I'm going to do whatever it takes, you know, of course, within reason. I'm not going to break the law or anything, but I'm going to bust my ass to, you know, earn extra money so I can get my girl, you know, educated the right way. She's been learning a lot of stuff that probably a lot of kids don't even learn in the public schools. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyhow, let me finish this off. I think I got one more paragraph here. I witnessed this daily in my South Bronx elementary school, where fewer than 20% of the students passed state's reading tests. That's sad. That is very sad. I never had a single student unable to read words printed on a page. When they were reading and writing about topics they knew, the Calkins method, students did well. But when asked to read about unfamiliar topics on state tests, they often struggled. They read it, but they didn't get. One principal I worked under attributed our low scores to, quote, test anxiety. I can understand that. I can totally understand that because, you know, I am a horrible test taker. Let me finish this shit first. But that wasn't the problem. Their education was all mirrors and no windows. Okay, so I can understand the whole, quote, test anxiety stuff because I'm a horrible test taker, and shit, I failed a whole bunch of. Well, that was my own doing. Like, I was lazy. I didn't do my work when I was. I didn't do my work when I was in high school. I was always out messing around.
Naughty boy.
Yeah, I was skipping a bunch of school. I was always trying to pick up the chicks at the all-girls private school and doing a bunch of stupid stuff.
Man, I didn't even start doing that stuff till I was like 28.
Dang, you're a late bloomer, dude. Jeez, man.
Oh, now you can't stop me. Anyways, go ahead.
Man. Yeah, but
making up for lost time.
I definitely hated taking tests, dude. I would write some bullshit up for tests all the time. All the time. I would write. I would make stuff up. Of course, I failed the test, but hey, you know, I try to improvise.
You know, I bet your creative writing teacher loved you.
No.
And the other thing is that it wasn't the creative writing class.
The teacher was probably saying, "What the hell is this guy saying, man? What did he even read the material? He didn't even study."
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. I can understand, but that shouldn't be the sole excuse of low test scores, dude. You know those SAT, those tests that they used to have for the kids and all that stuff, like every year. You know where you fill out the bubbles A, B, C, D, or E, whatever. Man, I always guessed on those things. I always try to make a design.
It'd be funny if you aced the test, right?
Like, damn, we got a
that
genius
method.
on our hands.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness. Let me kill that there. Let's go back to the bar real quick. What's your
Bar's
take on
filling up.
what's your take on that what's your take on the this article?
I think it's a bunch of bull crap. I mean, I think they're just basically, it sounds like what they're trying to do is like, what do you call it? Make it like the same across the board for everyone, and maybe just dumb down all of the lessons just so that, everyone feels equal. And it's kind of what it sounds like that they essentially would like to do. You know what I mean? Like, what was that one curriculum that Bush advanced when he was in office?
No Child Left Behind.
Yeah, that crap.
I remember that.
What's the one that came after that one? Someone will know. A Common Core. Common Core stuff.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe they're going to get to the point to where, well, because like it was in Washington or Oregon, where high schools were no longer required to take the reading and the writing tests, I think, and maybe even the math in order to graduate. You didn't have to pass those as exit exams.
Well, we were talking about this a few weeks ago about they wanted to take away the lettering standards. Remember that?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, what are they going to do? Just like have a whole bunch of pictures, Because then what are you going to do about the people that are not visual learners, like
Yeah.
And that kind of breaks it down to that too. When I was thinking about the whole comprehension aspect of it and reading in particular, if they're a different type of learner, like maybe they're auditory or, they're like kinetic or something like that or whatever. And they're not necessarily visual. And so just, the visualization of the words is already going to get them thrown off, but then to actually apply and comprehend it. Or another way of saying that is just try to understand the sentence that you read. That's why when I looked at that sentence, I was like, the headline, I was like, I don't know if I understand the way they wrote that. But that I think it was just a matter of a syntax in that regard. But I was just thinking like, well, comprehension, like there's different ways of learning, so are they trying to make one central curriculum that's just one shoe fits all? And then,
you can't
that
do
way,
that though.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do that, but that's what it sounds like they essentially want to do. Or maybe that's why they're just focusing on like, race and gender and sex now, because it's easier to teach that than it is to teach a kid to read. So pretty crazy.
Society going out the door, man.
Yep, but have faith, dear friend. I'm sure eventually,
I do.
At some point in the future, it'll turn around.
Believe me, I do, because there are, my daughter attends this whole online thing, and I'm gonna plug them, but I'm not getting anything for it. Freedom Project Academy, man.
Awesome.
Freedom Project Academy is off the hook when it comes to homeschool. My daughter's been in that program since kindergarten, and she's doing well, man. She's doing but the problem is she's just like me. She don't like school. Mm-hmm. She doesn't like school at all. And I tell her, I'm like, dude, you're home. Like, you don't have to wake up an hour early to get ready.
Well, did she ever go to public school? She'll never understand that concept.
Yeah, she doesn't.
She'll never understand that concept.
And on top of that, she only attends class Monday through Thursday for 2 hours.
Wow.
And I say to her, dude, you're only in class for 2 hours, okay? So if you put your mind into it, you can finish all your homework in another 2 hours, which gives you a total of 4 hours for school.
So how is that, like, there's no type of regulation or requirement that, she has to meet her public school standards or anything like that?
No, I think we've gone through that already in kindergarten, and I think we're good with the standards on that. I think we are.
But like, how so? Because like,
I couldn't tell you.
Back when I was homeschooling, we were really like outlaws. Like, they would send truancy people after us. We couldn't be out in the daytime. We had to stay inside the house because they could send truancy people after us, and they could send the truancy police, and then, they could fine us, and then they could send, child protective services over because we weren't in school. And then we would have to prove that we were being homeschooled, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, it's pretty cool if homeschoolers today don't have to deal with that. And again, it's just like, when I was a vegetarian back in the day, there was nothing but dirt to eat, and now they have all types of vegetarian things. But the good thing about that is, as weird of a metaphor as that was, because I'm like, back when I was homeschooling, there was no American Academy Freedom. Anyways,
Freedom Project Academy.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
I was like, there was none of that back then.
Yeah,
and
look them up on YouTube, man. They're a solid program.
Soon.
No, but I'm saying to the people out there who do have children and are considering to get their children in homeschool, look it up on YouTube. They are a solid. It's a solid school curriculum, man. They still do the Pledge of Allegiance and everything, even through online schooling, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That is awesome. They definitely have a standard, it sounds like.
They do. They have an excellent standard, and we've been we listen. I even sometimes when I'm halfway asleep, I still hear the teacher when she's talking to my daughter, and just to make sure that they're not teaching any kind of BS. But no, it's all school related stuff, it's all, but sometimes I'll chime in, I'll tell my daughter, hey, they're not telling you the whole truth. There's other things you got to understand about, for example, JFK. I'm like, nope, they'll tell you that, but there's more things in there that you don't know about, and I'll be more than happy to share what I know. And look, we can both look it up online too. So yeah, I kind of do that too. The conspiracy theory part of my brain will chime in sometimes. And my wife says, dude, it's school.
Awesome.
So, all right. Let me go here in the chats real quick before we move on to the next article.
Certainly.
Casual Gigi, good evening. Thank you for coming to the bar. Thank you for being here. She says, taught both my kids hooked on phonics and knew how to read before going to get. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The parents have to be a good base before they start school. So that's
base.
Yep. It's Samuel says, you sound like a good dad. I hope I am, man. I try to do the best I can. I try to be the dad that I didn't have. So I try to do the best I can. What I'm doing to my children now is what I wish I had done to me, because I grew up in a broken home. So I'm just trying to give my children what I didn't have. So thank you for that. Subpack says he's a rock star. Oh man, thank you so much, man. Thank you. Deplora Laura, good evening. Thank you for coming to the bar. It's Amel says he hates tests too. Well, join the club, my friend, because I hate them too. Let's see. Gotta roll, friends. Okay, Subpack. All right, brother. Thanks for coming by. You're probably gone already, but thank you so much for stopping by, my friend. I don't like having to prove what I already know, it's Amel says. Come check out the documentary of my boat, USS Hawkbill. Okay, maybe I'll try to check that out later on. Teachers don't have to prove that they taught you properly. Yeah, no, they don't.
Not anymore, anyways.
Well, it's Amel's. He's talking about my video now.
Yeah, I saw that. Enough zest. Too much zest.
Well, all right. Let me change the screen if that's the case then. Okay. No, let's go to there.
But we need our vitamin C so we can fight scurvy.
Yes. Well, that's why I got my Cuban screw. It has.
Oh, well, someone at least got a Cuban screw. It's okay. I have a cool Chardonnay that works for me.
Oh, so you're drinking some white wine tonight.
There's no black fly in it, so we're all good.
All right, let's go to yours now.
Oh, what's up? What's up? What's next?
Here we go.
Yeah, and away we go.
Hold on. I forgot. I have to screen share with you.
Uh-huh.
Hold on for a minute. Bam.
Bam.
It's a man.
Yeah, I really do think that's a man, honestly. That is a man.
with a headline like that? Yes.
Yes. That is a man. This Labor MP, that is a man. Especially if she's going to go after someone who is attacking the only two genders God put on this earth. Maybe on another planet.
Isn't this the lady who wrote those? What's the book? The famous books?
J.K. Rowling is that person. I don't think that's J.K. Rowling. I think that's the Labor. What does MP stand for again? We looked this up, didn't we?
No. J.K. Rowling, is she the one that wrote those books, those famous books?
J.K. Rowling is the one who wrote the books, but the person that looks like a man in the picture is the Labor MP.
Okay, so but what's the name of the books again?
I can't remember. I was never a fan.
Lord of the Rings? Was it Lord of the Rings? No.
Someone's gonna slap you. Ain't gonna be me.
Man, I don't know, man. I'm not into that kind of stuff. I know. Oh, Harry Potter. Harry Potter, right?
Harry Potter, right?
It was the Harry Potter books.
That's a pretty
Same
big leap from Lord of the Rings.
It's the same stuff.
Anyways.
It's fantasy stuff, right?
No, it's not.
They're both
It's
fantasy stuff, aren't they?
No.
It's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like Star Wars and Star Trek.
They are nothing like. Oh no, those aren't alike either at all.
I don't know. I'm not into that stuff, so I don't know.
Member of Parliament. That's what it is. Member of Parliament.
This man right here.
That man right there is yes, Member of Parliament. Says that J.K. Rowling is wrong. She was born with a penis.
Oh my goodness, man. Jeez, should we just keep her face there? Let's just keep her face there. Man.
It's a man. Look at that jawline. Look at the jawline. Look at the shoulders. It's a man.
Look at the Adam's apple.
It's not because she's British. It's because it's a man. Okay. And this is Kurt Zindolka who wrote this from Breitbart. Yeah, so there were a couple of articles I was, because we did officially enter into that time of year, right? It's like the time of month, but extended for an entire month. You know what that is, right?
The Pride thing?
It is, it's LGBT. It's LGBT month.
Yeah, the reason why I know that's because somebody.
Tell me why you know that, Steve.
No, because somebody inquired for a DJ for this weekend, but
they're like, it's Pride Month. Give us a discount.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yep.
This ain't a charity. No, kidding.
No. First they said we're a non-profit and we're doing an event for the Pride. And I was like, I said I was having this discussion in my head. I was like, okay, I don't agree with that lifestyle and I don't want to be a part of that. So what's the best thing for me to do? I overpriced them.
Awesome.
So I told them no in a very, very polite way.
Yes. The last thing you need is your face across all the Texas newspapers. DJ rejects party because he doesn't believe with lifestyle.
No.
Like who Beto O'Rourke would just make an example out of you, right?
Dude, that guy's that guy's done. He's done, man.
I'm
he's done.
Surprised he's still in the oven. Like
he is done.
I'm surprised he's still on the menu. Like what the hell?
Especially after that shit he pulled.
No.
In that press
joke.
conference, that is so
No
sick,
joke.
man. That was sick.
He just is the worst person at press conferences. Let me tell you what, that man.
Dude.
That guy is retarded. I don't understand at all.
He's not retarded. I'll say it with an East Coast accent. He's a fucking retard. He's a fucking retard.
He's a jabroni.
What are you, a fucking retard?
Yeah. Francis.
Oh my gosh.
That's his middle name, anyways.
He's no
Beto Francis O'Rourke. Robert Francis O'Rourke. Come on.
More like Beta.
Come on.
Shit.
Let's just be real here. Roberta. Anyways, okay. It says here, a Labour Party member of Parliament has said that Harry Potter author of J.K. Rowling, is wrong on transgenderism, declaring that some women are born with penises. So well, let's just set some boundaries here. If a woman is born with a penis, they are not transgender.
They're
They
a
are
male.
a hermaphrodite.
No, they're a male.
Well, I mean, if it's a woman being born with the penis, then I would assume that that means that they also have an ovary and a vagina slash.
No, what they're saying, this clearly states that the person is just born with a penis, and they didn't mention the other body part of the female. It just says penis. So this is a male.
So it's like going to this like gender reveal party, right? And I was like, well, I've never been to one of these gender reveal parties, so I wasn't exactly sure what to get as a gift. And I was like, well, what do you get for a 35-year-old? That's not mine. That is not my joke. I don't remember who said it, but it's not mine. Okay. It's not my joke, but I thought it fit. So
that's funny.
Anyway, yeah, I guess so. It's just some amorphous, genderless thing that oozes out, right? And then when it is old enough to be confused into what gender it wants to be, that's when we decide whether or not it was a woman born with a penis. I know, right? Wasn't that confusing?
This is what they do. This is what they do. This is what they do. They confuse the shit out of people. I mean, why can't life be so simple? Why can't people just want to be simple? Why do people have to have that want to be complicated, or I don't know,
well,
complex? Why do they want to be so complex? Because it makes them feel like they're different from everybody's different from everybody else already. You know?
Well, I mean, I would say if society agreed with having sex with children and killing babies, and it was a common norm, then they probably would not be trying to confuse people into transgenderism and pedophilia, grooming, because they'd be like, well, we don't have to use these tactics on them because it's okay. I'm guessing, but I couldn't tell you. Yeah. I don't know, Speak.
Weird, man.
I don't. It's because we're living in the end of days since like 1988. Nah, just kidding. It's here. Stella
88
Creasy,
or 84?
choose a year, whichever one was worse. No. Stella Creasy, MP, member of Parliament. I always want to say like Minister Prime, and I'm just kidding.
You know what? You know what we used to call MP in my line of work?
What's that?
Massage parlors.
Oh, hey. I see you at the MP this weekend. I'm just kidding.
We used to call them MPs, man.
See a lot of MPs in your time there, sir?
No, it's just the verbiage at work when I used to be a deputy. You know?
Interesting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
MPs.
Well, Stella Creasy is definitely not one of those. It says she is, well, he or she, I don't know what the hell it is, who has represented the London constituency of Walthamstow since 2010 for the Labour Party, said that while she acknowledges that biological sex is real, does that mean that having sex biologically is real? I don't know. Anyways, biological sex is real. It is not the end of the conversation. I mean, isn't all sex biological? Well, never mind, guys. Just let's not even go there. Do I think some women were born? Let's just not go there, okay? Because there are some freaky people these days.
You know, you always set yourself up for that kind of stuff. You always do, man.
Well, I'm like, biological sex is just a very weird way to say a biological gender. You know.
Well, I mean, we're working with specificity
specifics
now. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you would say a biological female or a biological male.
Right.
But biological sex just sounds like,
or cis. What is that, man?
I still don't know what that is, and I'm guessing that just means like they're like a sissy boy or something.
I don't know.
It's almost like one of those like hidden insults, right? Against like biological males. Like I would rather be called a bio male if I were to be part of that crowd than to be called a cis male,
No,
because
man. Since now you're
it's
contributing.
almost like it's like a an insult, because cis is so feminine sounding, you know,
Yeah,
and
but
it
now you're
sounds like, hey
contributing.
cis, what's up?
You're contributing to the whole making up of words
I
that
didn't make it
liberals
up.
do.
No, I didn't make it up, but
I mean,
I'm
I've
just
never heard
saying,
of what did you say?
a
A
bio male.
bioman?
Yeah, bio male, not bio man. That's like a superhero. Hello.
You're talking about Bionic Man. That's the $1 million
Whatever.
man. The $6 million man. Was it $6 million man?
I thought that was a wrestler. Anyways, okay.
That's Ted DiBiase, dude.
So why was there never any copyright issues with all of those?
I
All
don't
of those
know,
names?
man. I don't know.
I mean, the Worldwide Environmental Program finally went, or Federation finally went after World Wildlife Foundation.
Oh,
finally
did
went
they?
after WWF.
I didn't even
Why
know
do you
that.
think they changed it to WWE? I was like, what the hell is WWE?
Yeah, I never knew that.
And they're like, oh yeah, the World Wildlife Foundation sued them. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. Clearly, yeah.
man, that's
WWF
funny.
doesn't stand for that. Anyways, so yeah, bio male. No, I didn't make that term up, but I guess I am open to knowing that, considering, I am still gay. Anyways, so like,
Yeah, but
okay.
you still have the male parts.
Well, obviously. Well, I mean, and maybe that might not be obvious to some of you guys, to which I would say, well, screw you, because I'm not. Anyways, so like,
What?
anyways, no, because okay, so here's just this weird little like segue away, like interlude. So in like the drag queen community, before it was, when the drag queen community used to be nice and disgusting and disrespectful and vulgar, all on its own, in its own corner and subculture of the world, before it decided to spill out into everyone's child's bedroom. There was this huge debate about what made a drag queen, which obviously, if you go back all the way back to like Shakespearean times, when you had, men dressing as women, so dressed as a woman or whatever, that was drag. It was always about female impersonation. And then there became this huge debate about whether or not a drag queen who had become a trans whatever was really a drag queen, right? And then there became this debate about biological women dressing up in drag and calling themselves drag queen. And I was like, well, that's not a drag queen, that's just a very eccentric woman.
Mm-hmm.
So they called them bio women, or bio queens is what they called them. So that's where that reference comes from. So that would be like a biological female who dresses up in drag and does all the stuff that drag queens do. Yeah, that's just a little bit of subculture you guys did not need for tonight. But you never know, it might help you out in the field someday. When you have like a cisgendered bio, I don't know, trans species, bio female drag queen. Anyways, that needs your help.
You see how confusing this thing gets.
Can you tell I'm confused?
Even you're getting confused by your own words.
Like, geez Louise. Anyways, okay, so it doesn't help to want to learn when you're learning nothing but rubbish. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I try not to delve in too much garbage.
Yeah, well, let's see here. So it says, do I think some women were born with penises? Yes. The left-wing politician said in an interview with The Telegraph, adding, they are now women and I respect that. Wait, but when they were born with their penis, were they a woman? She says, they are now women. That's not how it was when they were born. I mean, can't they even respect that? Apparently not, right? apparently not. Further explaining her position, Creasy said that as opposed to J.K. Rowling, she supports self-identification because everyone knows that when that baby popped out that mother's womb, it self-identified, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it says, I am somebody who would say that a trans woman is an adult human female who cannot have babies, right? And anyways, okay. I would say that you and I were adult human females, she told the female interviewer, who then slapped her and said, how dare you misgender me?
You know, I don't know if it is still, but in California, when I used to be a deputy out there, that was a misdemeanor if you misgendered somebody.
That's insane.
It sure is, man.
That's insane. It's like I was at, I had a doctor's appointment the other day, and even on the doctor's name tag, it has their pronouns, right?
Are you
And so
serious?
yes, even on the doctor's name tags. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh, dude.
my thought was this: I respect you enough to believe that you can tell what gender I am. I'm not going to tell you what I am, okay? Like, besides, that's stupid, you know. But I mean, that's just, you know, my thought. But then, of course, you have these like
That was a doctor.
Greek. That was a doctor,
Oh
right?
my
That had it on their
gosh,
name
dude,
tag.
man.
Everyone in that doctor's office did. But anyhow,
Jeez.
but you know, then you have these mutant roly-poly like Morlock cats that run around, right? That get so, I don't know if they have panties or boxers on, but they get twisted and wedgied, right? And so I guess that's why, you know, we have to be able to, I guess, get charged with a misdemeanor for misgendering them. And, you know, that seems like it would open up a bunch of doorways just for spite crimes. Like,
Mhm.
I don't like him, so I'm just going to say that he misgendered
I mean,
me.
dude, there's a
He
lot of
didn't want to date me.
There-
He didn't want to put it in me.
there are a lot of dumbass laws out there in California. I tell you, man.
Mm.
Like another one was where I don't know if it still is, but if you knowingly have sex, so if let's say you have AIDS or you have HIV, you're positive and you know you are,
Mhm.
and you purposely have sex and not tell them that you.
They took that away over there, didn't they?
I don't know.
Last I heard, they did, because I think, I don't know how
Well,
many.
it's not
other
a
states-
crime. Yeah, it's not.
Well,
it's,
over there, it's not a crime
yeah,
anymore. But
it's
it
not.
used to
It's not
be.
a crime. It used to
Yeah.
be, but not
Mhm.
anymore. Which is
Right, like in Texas, it is. It's a crime.
I mean, you can
Yeah.
still have I mean, that still could be. I mean, in my opinion, it still could be considered as murder because you have. I mean, you knowingly you have the disease that
Mhm.
is incurable, and you know that it's going to kill somebody.
Right. So you have to disclose, right? And if you don't, and they get it, I would agree with you. Like
That
you-
because there's forethought in that.
yeah, you'd have to be held accountable.
Mhm.
You know, never mind all of the advances in the medicinal fields or whatever. You know, that person's life will essentially change. So some type of culpability should be. And yeah, I heard they got rid of that in California not too long ago. I think within the last 5 or 6 years, maybe.
No,
they
it
got
was
rid
just
of
a
it.
couple. It was like 2 or 3 years.
Oh, it was sooner than that.
Yeah, it was.
So, yeah, I heard about that. I was like,
So-
dang, that's crazy.
So it's a crime to misgender somebody, but it's not a crime to intentionally infect somebody with AIDS or HIV.
Yep, that's crazy, man.
That's California.
California, you guys are ass backwards.
That's California.
They
man.
need to reconsider their priorities. Clearly,
Or you can do what I did. I just left.
Just leave.
Just leave. Just get up and
Up
leave.
and go. Absolutely, absolutely. So this member of parliament describes herself as an old-fashioned feminist, meaning, I'm just kidding. Like she's against all the Middle Eastern cultures, right? Because they're all anti-women.
Right?
Yeah, probably not. This member of parliament describes herself as an old-fashioned feminist who is fighting against the patriarchy, which she said also oppresses biological men who identify as women. So it's right for me to stand with my trans sisters and say, let's fight these battles together, she said. Creasy added that she believes it is bonkers that the law in Britain requires two doctors to sign off on an individual legally changing their gender. That brings up all sorts of questions about what is a woman in terms of gender. What does it mean to live as a woman? I wear flat shoes. I've got terrible bunions. Well, maybe you should wear the appropriate size, right?
Yeah, or
Is
Skechers.
someone, yeah, is someone going to tell me that living as a woman means you have to wear high heels for 2 years? She questioned.
You don't have to.
This woman's just got some insecurity issues. That's all. I don't think she's secure in her own vessel. Let's see here. Down at the bottom it says should I read that? Former prison minister reveals trans inmates have raped female staff. Well, you called them women even though they still had penises. That's what's gonna happen. Remember, a woman got a woman pregnant in jail, but it wasn't a miracle from God. It was actually a trans woman that still had a dick, which means it's not even a trans. I don't consider them transsexual until they're post-operational. I don't even consider them female or male. They're still transsexual. They're still trans because they transitioned into that gender.
Go hard or go home, right?
With the help of modern medicine, right?
Go hard or go home. You go all the way or you just don't do it at all.
That's right. Because you know what? If you still got it between your legs, then you are a cross-dresser, particularly if you have no fashion sense.
Yeah.
And most cross-dressers don't. They just look like off-the-rack hookers. Anyways. And most of them don't pass. Anyways, okay, so the interview has drawn backlash on social media, with several political figures ridiculing her definition of womanhood. A self-styled champion of women's rights, and yet she does not seem to know what a woman is, said Conservative Member of Parliament Scott Brenton. Welcome to the madhouse, said Reclaim Party leader Lawrence Fox. I was going to say Florence Locks.
Dyslexia.
How did I get dyslexic? Yeah. The interview with Creasy comes in the wake of months of public debate over what constitutes a woman, with both the Conservatives' Chancellor Rishi Sunak and Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer struggling to provide a clear definition for a woman. That's the most ridiculous thing. And, what it really sounds like to me is they are just maybe advertently, maybe inadvertently erasing women from society.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it on a larger scale, I mean, women cannot even define women now. Why can a trans person define the word woman, but a female woman born a woman cannot define a woman? And what the heck is that thing in the picture?
you got some kind of crowd over there, man.
What are they? I told you they're all Morlock mutants from like the sewers.
So I want to address something here as far as
with neuroses,
with what you said, how women can't describe women.
Yeah.
I think that people have gotten to the point where they don't want to offend anybody, which is why they can't describe women. Mm-hmm. Because they know deep in their heart that if they do, it's totally opposite of what these trans people think they are. And they don't want to be the ones to offend anybody, which is stupid.
Yep.
Whatever happened to what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong? Mm-hmm. What happened to that? We shouldn't be worried about offending anybody. I think people have to be grown up about shit that other people won't be able to agree with them.
Yeah. Whether they at the end of the day, it's all about how it's delivered.
Right? Like respectfully, yes.
Exactly.
Respectfully, yes.
Difference of opinion. And then of course the conversation should be equal on both sides as far as that's concerned.
But the problem is now that many people don't know how to debate. It's not about being, because you can be respectful to somebody, but if you got one of these mentally ill people who just if you totally disagree with what they say is, then
Like that one,
they
biology is destiny.
like, they automatically think that you're being offensive and you hate the whole transgender people, you're homophobic, or whatever the case is.
Mhm.
If you totally just disagree with them, even if you deliver it in a respectful, I think a lot of people have just lost their minds, and they don't want to accept that you cannot agree with them.
Mhm.
And that's just something that I kind of observe how things are now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, I mean,
I'm hoping, it seems like every now and then, since all of this crap really got like really underway, like someone who's influential in, someone who's influential, right? Whether it's an actor or whether it's an athlete or even a businessman or a politician, will make some kind of sense, like some kind of common sense. Like take J.K. Rowling, for example, here. I don't like her, never did. She's always been a staunch leftist type of person. But then when she started sticking up for her vagina, all of a sudden she was like everyone's enemy, right?
mm-hmm.
But that was common sense on her part, what she was saying, and then she suffered the consequences, And I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh yes, well maybe common sense will make it back, and maybe these people who are influential saying these things will help it to kind of reset, the culture. But I mean, it's usually very short-lived, right?
It's not, and it's not. I don't think it ever will be like that again. And the reason why,
well, you know what? With an attitude like that, it won't, sir.
no. Hear me out. Just hear me out. Because I think I think I have some valid point on this. I think a lot of the youth, I wouldn't say every youth out there, because I I do believe that there are still good parents out there who do what they're supposed to as far as parenting goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a majority of people have failed parenting their children into saying, like, they spoil the shit out of their kids, man. And when you do that, there's no such thing as no for them. You know what I mean? And it's all about, with a lot of parents, they all they want to do is be their child's friend, and they don't want their kids to like hate them, or they don't want to make their children upset. And because of that,
you think that's why we have what we have now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's a failure on the part of the discipline of the parents, there's a brainwashing that's going on about how disciplining your children is going to leave some kind of, I don't know, mental scar or whatever. Dude, I was whacked the shit out of when I deserved it.
Likewise.
And
because of that, I think our generations got really lenient and relaxed with our children.
Well, not me.
Well,
not me. But I will say
clearly
this.
Clearly, you're an exception here. When we're talking about all the articles that we read all the time,
I will say this, though. I will say this. I think people, I guess at our age bracket, who started going to college and stuff, because they started bringing up how psychologically it can destroy children, or, all sorts of shit.
Mm-hmm.
When people of our generation started going to college, they started teaching that kind of shit to, people our age back then.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why now a lot of people in our age bracket, they don't discipline, because they were taught that, it's going to leave this and that. There's a correct way to discipline your children, and there's a wrong way to discipline your children. Ultimately,
always do it with love.
I don't want to cause or inflict any pain into my children. I really don't. But before I even get to that part, I always explain to them. First, I ask them, do you know why you're going to get disciplined? And if they don't, then I always explain to them what it is that they did, so they will understand what they did wrong. And
Because you made me do this. I'm just kidding.
well, and not only that,
I'm
but
just
another
playing.
thing too is that before I would lay the discipline on my child, I would tell them that I'll give them a certain an X amount of whackings to whatever they deserve.
Mhm.
And I would stop at that. Unless of course they start to like shuck and jive and try to dodge it. Of course I'm going to have to add, and but I always gave myself a limit, because back then when I was the one getting the whacking, the emotions started taking over my mom or my father, and they were just whacking and whacking and whacking without stopping.
Yep.
And I don't believe that you should be doing that to your child, because that
is, yeah.
that can lead to like scars.
Yeah, that's why I said always discipline out of love.
Right.
Because if you do it out of anger, you are going to lose count.
Which is why I even give a limit, because I say I don't want to go beyond this. I just say to my child, I'm like, look, just take what you're supposed to take, and we'll leave it at that. And sometimes my child would move around, and I'm like, now I have to give you 2 more, and I tell them stop, because I don't want to give you more. I don't. I want to stay at where I'm supposed to stay at, and just prove my point of what there's consequences to everything bad that you do. So I think people in our age range with children, I think they have failed, because they bought into the whole shit that it's a matter of how you do it. And now you got a bunch of younger people who are just out of control, who can't take no for an answer. They always get things their way, because they throw a temper tantrum, and nobody is like putting a limit to it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So do you think that with the way everything is now, with this current and probably the previous and then the upcoming generation, with kids just being out of control, and like even with the whole COVID thing, that set children back in developmental and social skills and stuff, including obedience, right?
Yeah.
Do you think because of all of what we're experiencing today, that there's a possibility that the next rung of parents, and maybe even some within our generation, will start to tighten down on disciplining their children? Or do you think it's done?
Okay, look.
Like, do you think like a younger parent will look around at all of this crap that's happening and what they see, and say they understand that these kids are like, and these aren't even kids anymore, they're like 20 years old or whatever, or acting the way that they are because they had such a lenient and non-disciplinary family with parents who let them do what they wanted, et cetera, that they'll realize that they need to discipline their children to have so that they'll be better than the people that we're witnessing, the kids that we're witnessing right now, like everyone in that picture right there.
Okay, so if you're asking me that question, right?
Yeah.
My answer to that question would be this. I think that children who had it right with the right parents, who were guided the right way, they have a chance.
Right.
They have a chance. But for the children who didn't have it, they're already out of control to begin with.
Right. So, but what about future parents? I mean, like children who are not born. Do you think that parents in the future will adjust based on where we are right now?
I don't.
And what
I as much as.
Or do you think it's just going to get progressively worse?
I don't want to be. I don't want to have to like be a negative.
Because I mean, I'm kind of like the opinion that like when things go so far one way, there's a natural reaction to it.
But how? Okay,
that will be counter to that.
Okay, but
I mean,
you're right. But how is that gonna happen to a bunch of people who didn't have that discipline to begin with?
because we're looking at people who are watching everything happening, and they recognize that it's wrong, and they recognize it needs to be corrected.
Then I'll go a step further and ask, how would they know where to start, and how would they know how to start that?
You know what? I would say, I mean, because they see it. I mean, how did the parents know to start taking over the school boards? They're doing it right now, you know?
Right.
And that's going to be more discipline ultimately, you know. And I'm willing to bet that those parents who are taking the initiative to get involved in their community and step it up a little bit outside their home, and instead of just having it, maybe they have a pretty well-run home, you know what I mean? Like if they're doing that for their community, like looking out for it like that, maybe they already have a really well-disciplined family. I don't know. But, you know, I'm willing to bet like those people have those type of standards and morals for discipline for their children if they care enough about their community. And more of them are coming out. I mean, we're ousting, you know, bad school boards, you know, left and right, it seems. And it seems like that value, which is a total reaction to what the left has brought us, is occurring now, you know. So
that's a good point that you're making. That really is a good point. I would hope that it will come to that. My hope is that it come to that. I mean, that's like the best case scenario, that it's gone overboard, that now people are they're just sick of it.
Yeah.
And that's the best case scenario that can happen. But you have, like, some of these things have to be learned behavior. Like you have to have a moral.
Well, for the ones who are already there, it's too late.
What do you mean?
For the ones who already for the people who already, for those who have already not been disciplined and who are already out in the street slapping people, whatever, it's too late for them, obviously. And
right.
Whatever children they have, well, you know, hopefully they really are the minority, you know.
I would hope so. I really do hope so.
Hopefully they really are the minority, you know, and like all the good old blue collar people who don't go to college and university, which I'm pretty sure there are more of them than there are of people who go to college and university. Hopefully they have a standard of discipline and some type of morality that, and anything would probably be steps above whatever we're seeing at the university levels today, you know. And I don't know, I just think we don't see, all of this is so amplified because it's all that we see, you know.
Right.
We don't see all of the, I mean, think about all the homes like in your area, and think about the size of a university. Like, I mean, there's more of the common working people than there are of like spoiled little rich kids, you know.
Okay, so I will say this, like a lot of people that I contact and have conversations with in real life, they don't seem to be that type of people, like the people who are out of control. They don't seem to be like that. And when we talk about the youth, we kind of agree. So, and that's a majority of people that I do talk to. So I would say that there is hope, only based on all, you know, just based off the experiences I've had talking to other people. Okay. I know we're bombarded with a bunch of YouTube, TikTok videos or whatever, but honestly, I think,
and those are also actually really good teaching tools for how not to be, if you think about it.
Right. No, you, and I do that all the time with my daughter. I'm like, look, I don't want you to be like this, you know? But like I said, a lot of the contact that I have with people out in the real, in the real world and have conversations with, we are in agreement about how the youth are out of control and stuff like that. So I would say that there is hope, because just, you know, I talk to a lot more people out in real life than I do virtually. So I would say, yeah, there is hope.
And, you know, all it takes is one good sheriff and one good mayor and one good governor to wipe the streets with these assholes that do all that crap, with the Antifers, with the BLMers, with these little pink hat Morlocks, and they'll learn too. Because if mama didn't do it, society will. And it depends on whether or not we have the type of leaders that can do that, you know.
That is a difficult line though, because a lot of leaders play too much politics.
Well, you know, that is
They do,
that is
man.
another difficult debate that takes a lot more hope and faith. We
Dude,
probably don't have time for it.
no, we don't. We don't. But I tell you right now, I tell you because I used to work in a department that was so heavily political, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you talk about what's right and what's right politically, those are two different fucking things, man.
Hmm.
You know, what you think may be right is not right for the department politically. You know, it's not for the best interest of the department politically.
So who would your department chief, manager, whatever, supervisor, who would they answer to?
What do you mean?
Like whoever the head of your department was, or your unit, or your station, like
Well,
the
it's
top
a,
dog.
it's a pecking order. You know, the
No,
sheriff.
no. I'm asking you, who's the top person?
It's the sheriff. The sheriff is
And who? Oh, they're that's the law of the land, right?
the sheriff. Yeah, and then
Right, so-
and then he has to answer to the people.
Exactly. So, you know, because I'm like, you know, if it's like a chief, they would answer to someone else and answer someone, you know, all the way on up, like, you know, because if you have someone at
Oh well, let
the
me
head
let-
who
let-
can do it,
let me change that.
they would have to steer it.
Let
you know?
let me change that. In perspective, it would be the people, but
Right.
if you're talking politics, it's the freaking board of supervisors of the county.
And you know, I'm not talking politics, because if you have a good head to steer it, then I mean, his job might not be easy as the sheriff, but steering it, if he were strong enough to implement it.
But that's
you
the
know,
problem. The problem
Well,
is
that is the problem, but that doesn't mean that there is not a solution, right? We want to be solution based here, not just focusing on what the problem is. We have to be able to recognize the solutions, you know, that's the only thing that's going to take our foot out of the quagmire, you know, and we already know what the problem is, but we need to focus on the solutions now, because we've known what these problems are for so long already.
Well,
and if we just
politics in
keep it-
itself has to change.
it
There's
does.
too
It
much.
does.
There's too many special interest people who are able to fund so many politicians with all this money,
Mhm.
and that's a problem.
You know, and that's the thing though, is like someone has to step up and do it if no one else is going to do it, you know what I mean? And that's where I think that is where we have the problem. Now, what's the solution to that? I mean, you know, like,
Okay, so what do you mean by there has to be somebody to step up and do it?
because that's not going to take care of itself if we have someone who's corrupt and beholden to the politics.
Right.
I mean, and of course, this, you want to talk about something systemic, that is absolutely systemic. I mean, the whole thing is rigged through and through.
It is.
But we because we're already, I think, as a culture, at least subconsciously, because it's obviously not accepted generally speaking, but subconsciously, greater than anything, already recognizing that, you know, it is all the people, we are the ones who are accountable for that governance, that self-governance, etc. And for
We're
cleaning
supposed
that
to.
up.
The people are supposed to be.
We are, but you know, we can't just keep seeing the people, because we are the people also, you and I and everyone in the audience,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So we can't just sit back, and I'm not saying like, you know, we're just having a conversation, obviously, but I'm saying like, you know, generally speaking, like, we can't just sit back and identify the issues. And so, you know what if I sit here behind my desk and on my screen, and I identify all of the issues to everybody, and it never changes? You know, how much longer am I going to sit behind this desk and just talk until I actually have to get up and do something, because no one else is going to do it? You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're
Like-
saying. I get what you're saying. Matter of fact, remember, you and I we know somebody who tried to do that, right?
Mhm.
We know somebody who tried to do it. You know, I'm not trying to say anything bad about the guy. He's a great guy, and I think he would have been the right person to do what he wanted to do.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, you know, that's not there's a certain way the game is played. And and this is one of the reasons why I stopped paying attention to politics, because it's such a dirty thing. It's very dirty. You know, I just didn't like it anymore. It's making me, it was eating me up. It was eating me up, which is why I stopped. But there's just so many I'm like, I don't know any solution to it. I don't.
To get the right people in there is what I think.
Well,
would be
I
the
mean, no,
solution.
you're right. We do have to get the right people, but the problem is it's very difficult for the right people to get in. Even with the right intentions, even with the right kind of backing, it's very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's true based on a
The
pattern
whole-
of history.
It's the
you know?
the whole system of how it is. It's all fixed for certain people to get in there.
Yeah, you're right.
And
And I don't know.
I mean, look, you want to talk about solutions? We have to. It's one of those things that we have to break down and rebuild up.
You're right, and we are doing that right now. Is kind of why I don't let go of it, because we already all recognize that is the problem, that it's fixed from the jump,
Right.
But there's so many breakdowns and there's so many like points that are coming out right now that people are understanding and comprehending and grasping, and it's to the point of motivation to action. And it's so many different aspects and so many different areas. It's not just like the vote or the count of the vote. It's all these other things,
Right,
including
right.
like
It's
money.
it's a
and
lot of angles to it.
influence, and yeah.
No,
a
you're
lot
right.
of it. But the thing about it is like people are recognizing, but not only that, now people are also recognizing ways to go at it, to attack it, to rectify it, to fight it. Whereas before, it's like, well, what could we do? Like, what could we do? And it was probably even harder back then in the day, because they could probably just have you killed and no one would ever notice or care.
And it's
Whereas nowadays,
I'm pretty still the same way. That if they really didn't want you in there, and even if you had a good pushing to get through, to get in, if you had a really good chance, that they would do whatever it took for you not to be in there.
well, I mean, as of June 1st, 2022, I'd say that statement is probably 80 to 90% accurate. I mean, 100% like that. I would say that, because it's true, because everything is still rigged and fixed. Not everything has been solved yet.
Mhm.
Not everything has been broken down, so that is a statement of fact at this point,
And then here's another thing about it too. Like, let's say we did get somebody in there who was the right person for us.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a matter of keeping that person pure and uncorrupt.
Well, I would say if we voted that person in, we wouldn't have to keep them pure so much as just check up on them, or follow the paperwork, or follow the money trail. And I would trust that person, because I don't vote for someone I don't trust anyways.
Right,
But that doesn't,
right.
obviously doesn't mean like I'm not going to verify but you just see the fruit of their work as they go along,
Right.
and
But you got to understand too that there's always how
that's
do I
so
say?
absolute. Like, I don't like the word always.
No, but there's
I don't.
always different angles to work things. There's always ways to show the illusion of you're doing the right thing, but behind closed doors, because of this,
All I can say is it will show itself, whatever it is.
it probably will. But
No, it will.
But
They can't
but-
make a deal
but
with
the-
the city without it showing itself,
but-
or
but-
whatever it is that they're doing.
But what I'm saying is, by the time it reveals itself, it's already been done. It's already too late.
Yeah,
That's
unless
just the way
that person were leaving office or they are retiring, doesn't mean that something could not be done about it.
And that's just the way politics is. It's so and this is the reason why I left, man. The reason not left, like, when I say left, I'm not saying that I was ever in office or anything. I'm just saying that politics as a part of my life, I let go. I had to, because it was destroying me. It was destroying my family life, and it would have killed me. I think it would have killed me, because it was very unhealthy for me. Somebody like you is different because you live off of that, man, and that gives you no, which
I live off of it, but
no, but it fuels what your passion is for. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It fuels your passion, and I think God has given everybody different assignments here. Obviously, if I was feeling this way about the path of politics for me, then it obviously wasn't right for me to begin with. You know, as opposed to somebody like you, where it fuels you and brings out the best out of you for your work, then I think you're in the right path. But for me, I can't do it anymore, man. I just don't have the desire for it. And it's not that I'm giving up on society or whatever, but I just think that my priorities now have shifted to something more important. And I think for me, for what's more greater for me, you know, you know me, Mr. C, you know, my relationship with God is very, very, it's like one of the utmost important things for me. I mean, it's gone to the point where God is first in my life, then my family second, you know. I pray every day for the direction, you know, because I know this road can get very difficult. I pray for the direction every day. You know, I still stumble. I still, you know, I still watch a little bit here and there about the politics stuff, and it's still, you know, it doesn't settle right with me, man. I just see it because I want to know what's going on. Not to go extreme on it, but I just want to know what's going on so I know what to expect if there are going to be some major changes coming.
Yeah.
But I don't have the passion like I used to, man. I used to have the passion just as much as you did. And I would even go as far as trying to, like, I've changed people's thinking at work because of what I knew. And they would look at me and say, man, you were right. And I don't, you know, I didn't want to be the guy who said, oh, he was right. I don't want to be that guy. I was just saying, see, I've been telling you this, man. I've been telling you. So, you know, my priorities just have shifted, man. And, you know, I gotta be honest, like, I'm very happy where I'm at now. I'm able to have a freaking great conversation with you. Sometimes, you know, if you knew me before my relationship with God, like, I would be like, no, fuck you, man. You know, I'll be like, no, this is why, this is this, and that.
I'd be like, and you call yourself a Republican? I'm just kidding, a conservative?
No, but that you know, because
you sound like a liberal.
No, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get my point across is what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to say that I'm absolutely right, but, you know, I would tell you the reason why I think this way. But yeah, I'm not like that anymore. I don't like to engage in debates. You know, I think debates are healthy in a way where two people can respectfully talk to each other. But you know, if both people are kind of set in where they're at, the debate is pointless. You know, and it becomes unhealthy because you're debating something, and then at the end of it, nothing happens. Like, that's a waste of time.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, and it's funny because we actually don't go back and forth about politics, if you ever realize.
No, not necessarily, because I mean,
no, we don't. We actually go back and forth more about, like,
just
about
life stuff, right? Yeah,
societal, type of, you know, points of views and stuff like that. It's not even about politics.
Yeah,
it's just that politics is part of the conversation because it's part of, you know, I don't know, part of, like, what we experience in life. You know, my whole thing is just
we kind of delve into the politics stuff because, you know,
we talk politics, but we're not talking about politics. If people were to analyze the conversation we just had, it was not about politics at all.
Right.
It was actually about differences on perspective of humanity and stuff like that. Yeah, but, you know, I don't know. Like, I still would have to examine. I don't even know what's driving me to do what I'm doing, other than the fact that, you know, I love what our country stands for. I love. Don't
get me wrong,
symbolically,
dude. I love, dude. Yeah. I am with you on that, and you know that I am, man. Yeah. That, you know, I basically quit my job because I love this country. That's the gist of me quitting, is because of my love for the sacrifice.
Turned your back on it. No, just kidding.
No, it was because I love the sacrifices of all the blood that has been spilled for what we have left. You know, it was because of that shit I left my job. And, you know,
because let me tell you what, there's plenty of cities and towns in this state that could use a sheriff like you, sir.
Nah, I'm done.
I'm just saying.
And you're not the only one who told me that.
Yeah, I know. And it's not the first time I've told you either.
As a matter of fact, you know, I'll even go as far as saying Alan West told me that too.
You told me he did. Yeah,
He
you
told me.
He looked you straight in the eyes and said
Alan
that,
West
didn't he?
told me to my face, you need
Mhm.
to apply. You need
Yep.
to continue that job. And I said, no, sir.
I was like, see, speak, pop. No, just kidding.
I said, you know what, sir? God's got other plans for me, but I do appreciate the sentiment. You know, I told him.
Mhm.
I told him, and it was an honor. It was a big honor for me to hear that from a guy like him.
Yeah, man.
You
can
know,
imagine.
I told him a little bit of the story, man, and it was really, really refreshing to see a guy of his stature tell me something like that, man. But, you know, I can't do what I want. I have to do what God's told me to do, and I'm going to stick with that. You know, I'm not going to turn around and say, no, God, I'm going to do my own thing. No, I'm not going to do that. It's, you know.
Well, I mean, talk about bringing God back into the country. I mean,
And I've been
I don't
trying
know.
to, hey, look, I've been trying to.
I'm just saying because, you know, so many leaders lack that aspect of leadership.
It's not
you
just
know?
the leaders, my friend. It's many people out there don't have
Right,
that
and
in
so
their
they
life.
they need to see the example is what I'm getting at, you know, because, and the reason why I'm saying leaders is because there's so many leaders that don't have that. Everyone else in the general population can't see it exists, that someone still values those beliefs and, you know, still has value in that. You know, just imagine, you know,
Right.
the type of reach someone would have in a position like that serves their people well and instills those values in them. It's going to inspire them to want to go to church, to turn to God, to live a better life. You know,
You are right.
but that's just my perspective.
You are right to a point, but you gotta look at it this way.
How?
Okay, so
How do I need to look at it?
there weren't a whole bunch of followers when Jesus was walking down, you know, when he was walking the earth. There wasn't a whole bunch of followers. You know, matter of fact, a lot of people kind of turned their back on him towards the end.
Right. Because it was like kind of like a
And-
brand new thing, right?
And I always had it in my head when I started this journey, right? I already knew, just based off what Jesus went through, I already knew that this wasn't going to be the most popular path. And as much as I want to try to encourage as many people to have that relationship, the truth of the matter is a lot of people are not going to. And I'm not thinking in a negative way, but that's the mindset I have to have in order for me to keep going. You know, I don't want to have to
so that you don't get discouraged.
Exactly. I don't want to be discouraged about
Come on,
you know,
speak.
but you understand where I'm coming from. You know,
Kind of, yeah.
In order for me to keep having that fire as just like you, I have to have that mindset of, you know, not everybody is going to go this path. And I will be a lot more happier. Like right now, I'm very happy if I'm able to get one person. You know, I'm very happy, and I'm not like I'm getting them. It's more like I'm glad they're walking with me now. You know, they're walking with me on this path because I'm doing, you know, now I feel like I'm actually doing God's work. Right. But yeah, I feel happy just getting one person, and I can't.
Like
You know,
getting one person, do you mean like in the audience, or do you mean like converting?
it could be
someone else
anywhere.
who's already a Christian that likes you? Or?
No, it could be anywhere, dude. It can be anywhere. It's not necessarily just this show, but it's even people that I have conversations with outside. You know, I've had multiple conversations with old coworkers before, who didn't think it was important, but then, you know, I kind of planted the seed, and then things change a little bit, you know? So I'm just glad to be a part of that. You know, I'm not expecting a lot of people. I really am not. And I can only suspect that the more time goes on, the more difficult it's going to be. And people are going to treat me more difficult because of my belief. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, my mom says the same thing. You know, she's waiting for them to bust down her door and take her to the gulags, and she's gonna go through tribulation, and
But I'm not afraid of that.
neither is she.
You know, I'm not afraid of that. I really am not.
I just tell her, I'll see you there, Mom, because they're gonna take me too. It's just I don't pray for it or talk about it. You know,
I am not, and
prepare for it.
It's a weird thing. It's a weird feeling because, you know, normally somebody would feel fear because they feel alone, but I really don't feel alone. I don't. I mean, physically, I could be alone. I mean, I have my family, but my family, I wish my family would walk the same path as me, but they don't. You know, and I don't. You know, in the beginning, I was forcing myself upon that, forcing them to do it, but I said to myself, no, because that's not the way God would want it.
Mm-hmm.
God wants people to come with Him willingly.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So now I just kind of ask them, hey, you want to pray with me? And I just leave it at that. If they say no, then they say no. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I know it's going to get more difficult. And the thing that's going to hurt me the most is that, you know, there may people who can turn against you too, who is with you. Mm-hmm. That's the part that's going to hurt me the most, you know?
Well, you know, get ready for it.
and I have to.
I mean, I guess, you know, I don't know that there's any way that anyone could really prepare for something like that. But
no, nobody can prepare for somebody to backstab them. Nobody. But it's inevitable. You know,
these finalities. I cannot deal with absolutes. You know, in a universe of possibilities, it does not always. I mean, this is very technical, and I'm probably just being super picky speak, but I cannot deal with words like never, always, and, you know, it's gonna be like those, because that's not in the way I think and the way that I have, you know, come to exist. I don't think like that. There's always a possibility that it's not going to be like that.
But
and just because there's that 1 to 2 to 3% chance, I am not going to allow, and this is just me, I'm not going to allow myself to fall into that just because of a pattern in history, no matter how long it is. And that's just the way I think, and that's why I react that way, because like every time in life that I've come across that, I've always resisted that, because if I were to succumb to saying always and it's never, and I mean, I probably would have done myself in a long time ago, because I can be a very self-destructive person, you know. Mm-hmm. And it was only until I started to formulate a way to think positively and to view things positively, that's what pulled me out of all of that. It pulled me out of my cynicism. It pulled me out of my sarcasm. Now, I can get snarky and silly sometimes, but like, not to be genuinely just naturally that way, you know, is not how I am. And so I guess react to it, you know, because I'm just like, but that's not true. It's not always going to be like that. Well, it's never going to change, you know, but that's being real technical, you know.
let me put it to you this way. Look, even though my thoughts are that way, of course I don't want it to be. But at that point, with the things that I cannot control, I just leave that up to God, man. Mm-hmm. You know, that's kind of where I'm at. If there's possibilities for things to not go the way you want it to.
So you could always say something like, God could change that.
He is, but it's up to Him.
And I would love to. Oh, you're right. It is up to Him.
It's up to Him.
I said could, not will.
It's up to God whether or not He makes things happen or not. It's up to Him.
Maybe I'm just an SJW snowflake, and that sounds much better to me than it's never going to change. I'd rather hear, well, God could change that.
He could change it.
And I promise I wouldn't be like an SJW and say, there is no such thing of God. How dare you?
No, but you know, I don't want you to think that I'm all doom and gloom. I'm just the type of person who's been through a lot of stuff in life where, you know, expecting the best and hoping for the best and not getting the best, it brings you down, man. So you gotta mentally, for me, I mentally prepare myself for any type of possibility. I mean, that's what the former job that I used to have. I mean, that I had to go into situations that way, you know. So it's not because of being negative. It's because I just want to be prepared mentally too, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I get it. You know.
So
and for some people, it's hard to have that But just because you expect the best and you hope the best and you have a positive outlook does not mean that you're not prepared for what's to come, or that you don't have the strength to deal with it, you know. I
Well,
can say that for dang sure.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know because I've always been that type of person. Well, not always. I mean, I've kind of learned how to be the type of person I am now. But you know, getting discouraged can really bring you down sometimes. It brings it brings morality down, dude. You know, it really does. And
it does.
And sometimes it's hard to get up from that, which is why I'm always on the side of caution for certain things.
I put that stuff away a long time ago, you know. That's why I always say don't expect anything, you know, because they will always defy your expectations, and that's totally absolutist, but that doesn't mean that I can't live my life with that type of an outlook, you know. But then again, I have the skill set to deal with that, you know what I mean? Like, I have the skill set to deal with disappointment and not be disappointed, or I have the skill set to be, I mean, there's several things that happened to my life that should have had me down for days or weeks or months, and people I've known around me have been in the same position, but I will not allow myself to be that way. Because first of all, I don't want to. So once I recognize what it is, I can change it. Not everyone has that strength, you know, and I can say that, not to say that those people are weaker, you know, or that they are weak.
No,
period.
everybody
They're strong.
Everybody's strength is different. Everybody's strength in different areas too.
Yeah, you know, because I you know, we've all been through our own personal things. We've all been through our own things, even our own personal hells, you know. And that's why I always say it's about how we respond to it, and it's not how we react to it, and it's how we deal with it. You know, it's not the situation, because some people get focused on the situation, and that's really what's bringing them down, is the thought of what happened. But one has to be strong enough to
bounce back
recognize back up and recognize that the situation is not a definition. It's how one deals with that situation that will be the defining moment of that experience. And you know,
the thing about what you're talking about too is that I'm beginning to learn that difficulties in life are actually lessons that are necessary for us. It really is, you know.
Yeah, that's what all difficulties are. Every hardship, every roadblock, every stumble, every falter, every sin, all of that is just exactly that, you know. And that's why when I recognized those things, it was like, well, I don't need to get down on myself because I did this, or I don't need to feel this way because this happened. Because first of all, recognizing it is a blessing, you know. The next step is having the desire to do something about it, because that can actually be harder than recognizing sometimes,
right?
You know. And then after that, you know, it's just about, to me anyways, refining that experience and applying it to every aspect of your life. Every aspect.
Yep. No, I agree.
No matter what it is.
I agree.
You know, no matter what it is.
I definitely.
So that's why, you know, whenever you mean, let me tell you, Speak, I was like, my face was up to the TV screen, and I was waiting for those stupid, not that they're stupid, but I was waiting for the stupid, like, military to jump out of the sky and arrest all of them that day, you know. I was like there, you know, I was like on the edge of my seat. But I don't know, that wasn't, I don't know, something I could laugh off, even though it was very disheartening, you know. But you know what, I don't know, maybe my heart wasn't tied with it being the outcome. Maybe it was just too unrealistic. I don't know. But easily, you know, like, we lost half of our brothers and sisters that day, you know. And they've been coming back, you know, but like easily, big time discouragement, you know, big time. But if we give up, things will always stay the same.
Right.
And if we do not apply an action or a force that is counter to that which we do not agree with, because it's going to take action, then things will always stay the same.
Right.
Period.
I agree.
That's why we have to get involved. Not we, like me and you and people in the audience. We all do what we can, you know, but like in general, we as a whole, as the people, need to be involved and really remember that we do self-govern, and we gave that up a long time ago by design, mostly. And then everything else is, I think, an outgrowth of that design, which is laziness and greed,
Yeah,
and
no,
all
no,
the other things that have
absolutely.
destroyed society.
Absolutely.
But first it was by design. All of this was by design. Where we are today was by design, which is why I look at those people in that photo, and even though I call them Morlocks and Marauders and mutants from below the sewer, etc., I don't hate them at all. I don't even feel that emotion or word or energy towards any of them. I'm amused and maybe
I'm
a little
amused too.
condescending
Yeah,
about
no,
them.
I get amused too, but at the same time, I think I feel okay.
I think, I don't know.
I
I really feel like if I could have a conversation with each of them individually, eventually in time, not that they would change 100%, but their perspective would soften. I do think that it's possible.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I
at
think
this
it's
point
possible.
right here,
The ones on the street right there.
yeah.
Right?
At this point right here, this is what I'm talking about. Where it's just pointless to talk to somebody when it's not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, the pearls to swine thing.
It's. I mean, this is pretty clear. It's pretty clear where they stand, and they're gonna stand hard on that where they stand. I noticed Aurelius Locke was like, "This is news." We were just having conversation, and it veered because of this photo right here, and we were talking about how
blame it on the Morlocks.
we were just talking about how society would be, or how it came about to where we're at now. And
do you see what the bartender and I do when no one orders a drink?
Well, it's nice to see you, Aurelius Locke. It's been a while. Two Rivers, it's nice to see you too.
My goodness.
Let the arrest begin. Welcome to the bar. Tennessee Tim, welcome to the bar. I thought I saw somebody here too. I saw Pilled by the Rabbit. Yo, it's been a while, bro.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you for the cookie too. Thank you so much.
Careful, there's THC in that one.
It's okay. I'm not a cop anymore. Anyhow, are we done with this article?
I think I'm done. You know what? I liked our conversation a whole lot more than that article.
Because the article I have is probably going to be.
Thank you for that speak, by the way. I appreciate you so much.
Oh,
brother.
no worries at all. I enjoy these conversations too, man, because I learned something, and I learn about perspectives that I don't even look at, and it's not one of those things where I'm like, I'm not going to listen to that guy. I know better than him. I'm not one of those type of persons. I'll listen to you. If you're able to make your case, I'm like, that's a good point. Okay. I should be mindful to that point, next time I talk with somebody else out there. Yeah, I should just have a better perspective next time. Anyhow, let me prepare the next article. Man, that went,
Who's J.K. Rowling? Screw her and her woman penis.
Yeah. I thought she did the whole. What was that movie I said?
Harry Potter.
Lord of the Rings. I thought it was Lord of the Rings. It was actually Harry
Lord
Potter.
of the Rings. It was Star
Same
Wars.
Same thing, man. It's the same thing.
It was Star Wars. What are you talking about?
Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. I don't know. Same thing. It's
Awesome.
it's all make believe stuff.
It's all fantasy.
Exactly. Hold on for a while. I know I'm gonna upset a lot of nerds out there that are into that stuff.
Goodness.
Like,
It's a good thing no one knows your face, because they'd go after you.
They'll be like,
that one,
I'm not coming to the bar no more, man. You're talking about my show. All right. You see that
Awesome.
screen share right there?
Let me see here. Yeah.
Oh, man, this is very upsetting to me. But
Oh, Lord.
nonetheless, it's one of those articles that made today's show. So this is a commentary, and this is from the westernjournal.com. Article is written by C. Douglas Golden. Article reads, Demonic Dem Rep says women need to be able to kill babies to deal with inflation.
If I may say, Janet Yellen said basically the same thing.
Are you serious?
She said, yeah, Janet Yellen said that inflation could be, we need to keep Roe v. Wade because it could assist with inflation. which I don't understand.
Oh, I understand.
Well, I mean, I understand why she said it, but I don't understand the logic. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the logic to that, to what she said.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you were a straight male, would you want to have a baby with her?
With Janet Yellen? She ended up looking like, I don't know, Donald Duck or Mexican Donald Duck, right? Do I need to show you guys the Janet Yellen picture? No, just kidding.
I think, yeah.
She'd look like a reptilian mallard. Because, you know, she's probably a reptile. Anyways.
She looks like one. She really does. She looks like a slee stack. You know what a slee stack is?
No, what's a slee stack?
You got to look it up. For those of you people,
I will.
For those of you people who remember that TV show back in the 80s and the 70s called Land of the Lost, you know what I'm talking about.
The slee stack god. Huh, let's see what this
Slee
is.
stacks,
I'm looking
man.
it up now.
Anyhow, let me go ahead.
Oh, I just saw a meme with them. I didn't know that's what that was called. I just saw a meme with them. I'm not joking. And I think I actually have it right here. It was, yeah, it's a whole bunch of them going, bro, just give up your guns, bro. Please, just give them up. How many kids do we have to How many kids have to die? Please, bro, just give up your guns.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Anyhow,
what if that's what the reptilians really look like?
Hey,
The
dude,
stacks.
you know, sometimes these TV shows, man, they give a little bit of truth out there.
Like Alien Mine, right? Like they almost look like that too, don't they? Maybe with just bigger eyes.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. All right. Struggling to deal with inflation? Kill more babies, a Democratic representative in California swing district says.
That's gross.
Yeah. Well,
Because first of all, that baby death money doesn't even trickle into society.
yeah, I
If
wonder,
that's what she's saying.
I wonder where in California this is. This should be interesting because I
West
don't know.
Hollywood. Oh wait, that's gay.
No, I don't think it's anywhere in LA. This could be Orange County,
Ooh,
which is supposedly
conservative.
I'm just saying, supposedly. As the Supreme Court prepares to release its official opinion on Roe versus Wade in the coming weeks, we'll be covering the latest developments here at the Western Journal, along with the Democrats' hysterical and inappropriate overreaction to them. All from a Christian conservative perspective you won't find in the establishment media. If you support our coverage, consider... Okay, subscribing. Well, okay, that's a little plug for them. I guess it's fair enough since I'm using their article. Porter appearing...
Hate saying their name. They're just kidding.
Porter appearing on the network Wednesday was asked by O'Donnell how the issues of inflation and abortion compare. I don't think they compare. I think they actually reinforce each other, Porter's. Dude, this is sick, dude.
How do they reinforce each other? Do tell us.
The fact that things like inflation can happen and it can become more expensive to feed your kids, to fuel your car, is exactly why people need to be able to be in charge of how many mouths they're going to have to feed, Porter. Dude, this is like communist China, dude.
Mm-hmm. What were they called again? Hibachi babies or something?
I don't even know. The fact that we're seeing this jump in expenses, that we're seeing people having to pay more in the grocery store, pay more at the pump, pay more for housing, is the reason that people are saying, I need to be able to make my own decisions about when and if to start a family. I don't think it's about comparing them or contrasting them, she summed up. I think they reinforce for people just how big of a responsibility it is to take care of a family. Well, come back to those final words in a moment. But first, let's note that Porter is positioning herself as an inflation hawk ahead of the November election. As the Orange County Register, I fucking hate those guys, noted she'll be...
You're right, Orange County.
I fucking hate those guys. I'm sorry. And if you say that, oh, that's such a strong word, yeah, I'm not fans of them at all. She'll be facing headwinds considering her newly drawn district only leans Democratic by 1 point and polls indicate we'll see a massive GOP midterm wave. On Wednesday, the same day as Porter's appearance on MSNBC, in which she suggested on-demand abortion is a tool for women to handle. Dude, this is so sick.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy, dude.
Political Sarah Ferris prominently featured Porter in a piece about inflation, abortion, Democrats in the midterm. Only after Representative Katie Porter put bacon in her cart at her local grocery store recently did she notice that its price had spiked to $9.99 a pound.
Wow.
Dude, everything has gone up, man. I went to Black's Barbecue over there in San Marcos, man. And the last time I bought what is it? Brisket. Dude, it was not even at $20, man. I went there 2 days ago, not yesterday, but 2 days ago. It's at $25 a pound, dude.
Dang. Only the rich people be eating that stuff.
And not only that, but I drove all the way out there.
Dang, gas money.
Well, I mean, considering I had to meet up with a client that I'll be DJing for this Saturday at Buda, I said to my,
Put it on your taxes, write it off.
Yeah, I said to my wife, hey, you know what?
Dinner too.
Black's is just down a few more exits. Let's just go over there for to buy lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we did. And I was like, shit, $25 a pound? Dang. Anyhow, where was I? Only after Rep. Katie Porter I read that part. Reluctantly, she put the package back. Ferris empurpled piece began. It was a dose of reality that Porter, a California progressive, a single mother of 3, has long understood. But she's not sure all of her Democratic colleagues share her interest in connecting the average American's expenses outside the Beltway. Too often, Congress recognizes issues too late. Porter said of inflation, I had a colleague mention to me, we're not seeking it in the polls. Well, you just don't know what to ask. Ironically, later in the piece, Ferris noted Democrats' own internal polling has confirmed they have problems with the key they talked to voters. Porter's take on the matter was meaningless babble, about avoiding meaningless babble. Okay. Conveying is part of it, but first you have to see it. Voters are very quick to be able to sense when something is hollow rhetoric, she said. It's not about just switching up your talking points, it's about seeing the issues. However, it's worth noting because literally less than 24 hours after the piece was published, Porter went on TV and told America that women need the right to sacrifice their unborn child to lick and dude.
So Porter went to the grocery market and she said, I'm going to get some bacon. I want some bacon. Saw the price and put it back. And then she immediately said, I need to kill my kids because if I don't, then they're going to eat my bacon.
Yeah, why she had, look, and this, obviously I'm just joking, right? She has 3. You still have 2 more if you give one up.
She's like, I can't get this bacon because I'm not going to get to eat it. It's selfish.
Man.
Selfish. Among other things, not just selfish, but I mean.
Jeez, man. I the logic on that, I really don't understand.
She's going to tell all the mothers, just think about all the food you're not going to have if you don't have an abortion.
But then again, she's liberal, dude. I mean.
Oh, she's worse than that. She's progressive.
Jeez. I continue on. There's a near demonic quality to this kind of rhetoric. Near demonic? I think it's demonic, man. I think that's as demonic as it gets. You're talking about killing the innocence of children. Like killing children. Children are innocent. They're innocent.
Even a spinning head 360 and pea soup is not as demonic as some of these people get. As demonic as some of these people get when it comes to freaking abortion. Like these people get I don't know. They get otherworldly.
You see the
They
look in
get
their
other
eyes.
I've seen the way these people act.
You've seen the look in their eyes.
Yeah, and I'm like, you
Mhm.
know what? I used to do that when I was a kid, and I was pretending to be like, Batman or something. And I'm like, these people are like full-grown adults, and they're out there like hissing and growling, like, they're possessed, and they probably
Oh,
are.
they are. They are.
It's just, I cannot
There's
believe
no
that
question.
adults act like that. I would expect teenagers or younger to be like that, but for an adult to like, and how does that prove their point? Anyways, I guess if they don't blow a whistle or beat a drum, they growl at you like they're possessed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what these people do.
They're
Or they
sick.
curse at you. Yeah.
And that a lot of it is attributed to not having God in their life. That's just my opinion. They don't have God in their life. They don't believe in God, and that's just the way it turns out. Porter's MSNBC appearance wasn't the first time in recent weeks that a politician take on abortion brought to mind child sacrifices made to Moloch. But almost no elected official has made the connection as explicitly as she has. But you just said that Yellen kind of made that connection too, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sick, man. Children are a gift from God. They are. Porter seems to view them as a potential impediment to affording bacon. Oh my gosh, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she will not be able to buy that bacon.
Does inflation reinforce for people just how big of a responsibility it is to take care of a family, as Porter said? It should, and there are a range of options to handle this responsibility. They include both prophylactics and the decision not to have sexual relations, thus precluding the creation of a human life in the first place. Yeah, I mean, why don't we hold people responsible for that? Have responsible sex. Don't have children out of wedlock, and you wouldn't have that problem.
Or contraception.
I mean,
is another thing. Because
pull out
with wedlock, obviously, but then even if you're married, people are going to be saying they should still be able to have abortions. There are consequences, right, for everyone. I don't care who you are for that type of activity. So then they should deal with it and not just cut out on it.
Instead of pushing this abortion issue, why don't we start teaching people to have not look, the truth is you're not going to stop people from having sex, but at least be responsible about their sexual activity.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying teach kids to have sex. What I'm saying is that's inevitable. Like they're going to do it. Okay? They're going to do it. My mom used to scare me all the time about even if, my mom used to tell me, even if you just stick it in the girl, she's going to get pregnant. And I was like, dang, man, I'm scared. But I still did it anyway. And when I found out that was a lie, I was like, she was just lying to me, dude. So I think just
look at the girl, she's going to get pregnant.
I think if parents are going to be like honest to their children about sex, just be honest about it. Yeah. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. And I'm not saying that promote the sex or whatever, but when you have a serious conversation with your child, you kind of say, look, I don't want you to have sex before you get married. I really don't. That's the truth of it. And it's irresponsible to do so. But if you do plan on doing it, share that with somebody that you love, because that's a big part of yourself. You're giving a big part of yourself to somebody. You don't want to just give it up to just anybody that, just because. There has to be a special connection between you and the person that you're doing it with.
So easy to say that after. No, just kidding.
No, and I've had this conversation with my son. I have. I told him, look, I'm not going to stop you, but you have to understand that that's a very precious thing that you're giving up to somebody. You're combining yourself as one with somebody at that moment. and which is weird because I never was like this before. I would say, why don't you? Yeah,
it's so easy to say that once
I would-
you've already had your fun, right?
well, no. Well, if it was the old me, I would say, dude, just screw all the girls you can, and you know, just play around, dude. Just play the field. But I think that direction is very, you know, it's very it's
destructive.
it's destructive.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but I think that if you treat somebody poorly, and if your intentions are just to have sex with them and just leave them, I think things will come back around. And I know that
Absolutely.
because I know that because it has come around. You know,
it's all about intention. Now, if both of you go in there fully well knowing that that's all it's going to be, that's special. No, just kidding. It's
no.
not. Anyway, I know it's not.
No, even if it's just casual sex with somebody you know, I think that if it's somebody that you have really deep feelings for, you know, it's a special moment, you know.
It is. It feels great.
It really is. And that's what makes the experience even better, is when you're sharing it with somebody that you really care about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I would never talk like this before. I would never. But, you know, I'm trying to set and I'm glad that my son he's nothing compared to what I was at his age. I was bad at his age. I was bad, man. I was all over the place with girls all the time, and it was bad. And I don't want my son to be that kind of man. And now that I have a daughter, like, when she becomes a teenager, I'm going to have this conversation with her. And I'm going to be honest with her. I really am. You know, I'm going to tell her, like, look, I don't want you to do this, and I know I'm not going to be there all the time. But the least I can do is at least talk to you and plant that seed in your head, so you be responsible about what you do. And I think that's what's missing right now. Instead of having to push the whole killing of babies, why can't we just teach teenagers?
Because sex sells.
The focus
That's another
is
conversation.
The focus is wrong here.
Yep, priorities.
The focus is wrong.
Our priorities are all off.
They have to live with that bad decision. They do. And maybe they need to live through that bad decision, raising that child, so they'll know.
And just think about it. Maybe it's not, okay, maybe it was a bad decision, but maybe it was meant to be that way.
True.
Maybe there's a reason why they made that decision,
right,
that none of us will ever understand.
Well, I mean, like I said,
they don't look at it that way.
Well,
they just think, oh, I have this cancer inside of me that's just going to strip me of all the joy and fun that I am entitled to have in my life, you know.
Well, maybe that's something that's needed for them to mature.
Right.
You know. But yeah, I agree. You know, I think the focus here is instead of pushing the irresponsible sex and the product of the irresponsible sex, instead of having to push the death of that, why don't we teach, you know, we have to teach the young teenagers, like, dude, sex is only something that you share with somebody special that you care for. Okay. I mean, it's going to be impossible. It's almost impossible nowadays to kind of save it for that person that you're going to marry. It's difficult. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm saying it's very, very difficult, especially with teenagers with the hormones going all over the place.
Oh man, I don't think I would have survived public school in this time. I don't think I would have survived. I don't.
But what I am
things that these kids do these days, that's just crazy,
dude.
Do some of the things that they do,
especially the girls now, man.
Well, you know, if you think the girls are bad, think about all the gay ones.
I don't even want to think about it.
It's 20 times worse, if not 100.
I don't want.
Yeah, don't even think about it, Speak. It's not worth it. It's not worth losing sleep over. But if you think the girls are bad, I'm just saying, okay?
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Well, and I think a lot of parents are kind of allowed that too, by certain ways that they let their girls dress and stuff like, man.
Sleepovers with the bros. No, just kidding. Anyways, let's finish this article, Speak.
Yeah,
it's almost one.
Okay, where was I? Okay. Once it's conceived, however, it's a life. Let's hope this clip plays as many times as it has to in Porter's new district to prove voters she's radical, not an inflation hawk. Okay, that's the end of the article right there.
Oh, awesome.
So pretty much she says to kill your kids, to stop inflation.
because the people are selfish. I mean, that's just the stupidest reasoning for that type of a statement. I mean, the underlying theme here is selfishness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not saving money. It's because she wanted the damn bacon. Okay.
Well, like I said,
she knew.
I mean, if she's pressed on that kind of thinking, well, she's got 3 children. If you get rid of one, you still have 2.
I mean, if I may just say, as crass as this might sound, I used to joke and say, well, I'm selfish. That's why I'm gay. I don't want to have kids. I want to be able to do what I want with my life, travel, blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's why people choose not to have children, not why they choose to be gay or whatever. But like, I used to joke like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So they could like, hey, blonde blue lady Q, long time no
I
see.
know. How
As
you
BB
been?
As BBQ says, they could just close their damn legs.
But they have to be, they
could just not have children. They could just,
They have to be taught that, though. You have to be taught that at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the parents tell them that. You have to, And I think a big part of that too is having the fathers of those daughters you have to reinforce it to them and let them know that they're very special. You're not just any girl that any guy can go up to and just. If you're gonna be with somebody, you better be with somebody who's gonna take care of you. Who's gonna be like. I
can imagine that conversation is totally different speaking to a daughter than it is to a son.
You have to let the girl know how precious she is. As a father, you have to let her know the importance of how much of giving herself is important to just keep it for that somebody who's special. You have to. That has to be reinforced, because if you don't, then the girl's not going to know her worth.
Yeah, man.
And when she hears that from her father, from a father that loves her, I think that the girl will hold out as long as she can, because she believes and trusts in her father.
Yep.
That's just I what do I know? My girl's only 10 right now.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm looking at the boys that she's playing with right now, and I'm thinking, man, you look at my girl the wrong way, I'm gonna poke your eyes, man.
Got a gun in the garage.
I got a few.
That's awesome.
So,
Straight awesome.
Blonde
sir.
BLQ, thank you so much for the can. Thank you so much. It's
Awesome.
nice. It's really nice to see you here, because I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. I haven't seen this blonde blue lady Q in so long.
Yeah.
Glad to see you tonight.
There's been a few people here that I haven't seen in a while. Pilled by the Rabbit, I haven't seen in a while. Even Aurelius Locke, I haven't seen him in the bar for a while. I've seen him in your show, but I haven't seen him in the bar in a while too. It's really nice to see you guys. It really is. It's like the old regulars coming back in.
The original Peaches. All right.
Anyways, Mr. C, I know we held it off a little bit longer than usual.
We even started as quick as we could.
but that's what happens, man. That's part of that's part of the chemistry that you and I have, man. I mean, we both get into this sometimes, and it's always a good thing. Like the conversations always turn out really good. They really do sometimes. Well, I would say all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a time that we ever had a horrible discussion. I don't think so.
Not one that I can recall.
Yeah. So you got anything to promote before I let you go, my friend?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, not particularly. We'll be back on the air with the C Report tomorrow. For any of you guys here who missed it tonight, I apologize. Just life and just too many rabbit holes. Didn't get it together quite in time. So we'll be back tomorrow. So again, I apologize, guys, and I will be back with another edition of the C Report.
Excuses.
That's not what we want to hear. All right. Well, websites, article writing, lack of paying attention to time, and then dinner with the family. So anyways, so there's that. Go visit thecreport.com. Did a facelift to the website. Maybe you guys can tell me what you think about it. That would be awesome. and just tidying that up all together, trying to streamline it and make it look, I don't know. I just had an itch and I had to take care of it. Check out the podcast, anchor.fm/the C Report, so you can get the live streams to go in your ears. It's much safer for driving, I'm told. And I hear the sound quality is better as well. So check that out also. And Truth Social at MRCTV, Gab at MR_CTV. And I think that's it. It's been a great night, Speak. I had a really fun time.
Always, man. I always enjoy the Wednesday show. And not to say I don't enjoy any of my shows, but the conversation that we end up having all the time, it's always great. It's even our private conversations are great, man. They're always great. So yeah. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed to have connected with you. God's grace connected you and I, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Thank you so much for being a part of this show on Wednesdays, man. And thank you.
It's a great time.
And most of all, thank you for being such a great friend, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Speak. I appreciate that very much. Don't talk to too many people. So yeah, some of you guys are all that I got, but I appreciate you all so much.
Cool.
And with that said, sir, I guess I'm going to bow out. You all have a beautiful night, and we'll catch you if you're hanging out with me over tomorrow at Mr. C Channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and if you guys are local, regular bar rats here, I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Take care, everyone. Love you all. We'll see you next time, and talk to you later, Speak.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
All right.
Good night.
Ta-ta.
And there he goes. And let me end for myself as well. And there I go with a blank black screen. Well, let me take you guys back to the bar. Let's see what we got at the bar. What's going on? Oh, the whiskey pour. Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. Okay, guys. So before I let you guys go, last call has been called, I guess, right now. Please follow me in all the social media outlets. Let me drop my link tree there. Since I'm solo today on doing this, man, I got spoiled. There's my link tree right there. You can follow me on social medias. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, CloutHub, Gab, Twitter, BitChute, YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, and of course Homebase, Pill.net, and thefoxhole.app. So I ask you guys for your support on those social medias. Give me a follow, not to boost my popularity, but to grow the channel more like it. It'll be greatly appreciated if you guys do. Also, the bar will, so far, the bar will be open again on Sunday afternoon at 12 p.m. God willing. I think I may have to go somewhere that day, but we'll just call it tentative, just in case I do. But I will definitely let people know on all the social medias that if I'm going to be able to open the bar on Sunday or not, because I think I might have to go somewhere important. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why you guys got to follow me there too, because I post the schedule over there on the social media outlets as well. Anyhow, thank you, Mr. C. Thank you so much for the can, my friend. Thank you so much, man. Not necessarily needed from you because you contribute to this show a lot, but I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let the arrest begin. Thank you so much for lurking. But it's fun. It's more fun to get into the conversations here on the chat. You just got to. You really got to. I want to thank everybody for coming to the bar tonight. It's always a pleasure to have to see normal regular names that I see all the time. And also it's a blessing to me when I have new people in here. It really is. As you guys know that, my whole journey with God is very serious, and, that's what the Monday night shows are about, it's to come over and come with me on the journey. So anyhow, I think I've said too much, more than I have to. So before I close the bar, always remember to be kind to one another. And if an opportunity ever presents itself to pick somebody up, please do so. I mean, we've all been through something rough in our life at one point of our time, or even multiple times, that sometimes we need a hand up. So that feeling. So if you ever see somebody who needs that hand up, lend them that hand and pick them up. Let's build our communities together. Let's be there and support each other. And I'm not just saying that loosely. We really got to be there for each other, because as time goes by, it's getting more difficult to live in this world. It really is. And at the end of it all we got is God, our family, and each other. I don't know how long we're going to have this country. I really don't. And I'm not saying that in a way where I'm negative, but just based off everything that's been going on, who knows how long. They're really pushing this great reset thing, and prices are going high with a lot of things, and it's looking like a perfect storm, little by little. So, with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the
bar is now closed.
I can't help but wonder if I'm under a spell. It's more than a passing notion. I've never fallen with such devotion. I can't help but wonder if it's only a dream. Am I naive, or can I believe that things are really as they seem? Can anyone explain how to understand what's true? I know I just can't take it. Whenever I'm with you, I can't help but wonder if you wonder about me. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be. explain it, how to understand what's true. I know I just can't take it. Whenever I'm with you, I can't help but wonder if you wonder about me. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might